Greetings, everyone. This evening we embark on a journey through the lacquered doors of the Forbidden City, delving into the unexpectedly vibrant and at times whimsical daily lives of imperial concubines in ancient China. Before you settle in, I invite you to take a moment to show your appreciation for the video and consider subscribing, but only if my work resonates with you. I'd love to hear from you in the comments. Share where you're joining us from and what time it's in your corner of the world. It's truly captivating to witness the diverse individuals who come together from every corner of the globe. Now, let us lower the lights, perhaps activate a fan, to create a gentle, soothing hum, and prepare to embark on tonight's adventure together. Picture yourself abruptly pulled from the embrace of your luxurious dreams at that hour, when even the roosters are pondering their existence. Thus commence the daily ritual of every imperial concubine, pulled from a serene dream state by a dedicated group of caretakers whose sole purpose was to ensure you appeared radiant even before awareness graced your mind. Cast aside the clamor of alarm clocks. In the heart of the Forbidden City, the dawn broke with a dramatic flare as curtains were flung open, cold water splashed upon your skin, and a young maid's soft voice urged, "Rise, noble lady." With the fervor of one who is truly captivated by your sleepless nights, what about the other maid? She's already attempting to smooth down your hair as it has committed a grave offense against the royal lineage. There's no room for drowsiness. Here, yawning was a sign of the common folk. In a mere 7 seconds, you transformed from the depths of slumber to a radiant entity of the cosmos. Eyes that are a bit swollen. Provocative? Ah, the delightful chaos of a messy bun? Is it betrayal? Salivate. Well done. You've just gifted the eunuch a tale to chuckle over until next Tuesday? What's the hurry? Not for the ruler of the realm. He's likely lost in a world of board games with his ministers, barely recalling your name amidst the laughter and strategy. Indeed, this was meant to captivate your peers. Picture this: 50 other women, each one striving to outshine, not glam and outsmile you, all vying for the attention of the very same man. And trust me, the women of the palace had an uncanny ability to detect vulnerability, much like sharks sensing blood in the depths of the sea. They possessed finer footwear, yet their motives were far from noble. There you were, frozen in time, a figure carved from unease and delicate grains. As those around you worked diligently to transform you into a vision of readiness, one delicately brushed on the rouge. Once more, a delicate mist of something floral, yet intriguingly enigmatic, danced behind your ears. Uncertainty hung in the air. A delicate blend of scents that could have been perfume, or perhaps the earthy essence of powdered deer antler. In truth, weariness had settled in, leaving you indifferent to it all. Some concubines mastered the art of sleeping while sitting upright, all to preserve the elegance of their elaborate hairdos. Some sought to sway their attendants with offers for a more tender touch, yet the outcomes varied. Yet deep down, they all understood that if one did not begin the day with an impeccable appearance, the conclusion could very well be a fall from grace, or even more dire, a confinement to a room just a touch more modest. In the grand tapestry of palace life, rising from slumber was not merely the start of a new day. It was a tale of endurance, quiet, delicate, illuminated endurance. And should you happen to appear weary, well, that was essentially a fate sealed in shadows. For your standing, your sway, and perhaps your connection to the finest treats. After the harrowing experience of being transformed into a silk-clad figure before dawn, the moment for breakfast had finally arrived. A prize, you say? Not quite. Breakfast in the Forbidden City unfolded as a tense arena, where kanji became the battleground for unspoken rivalries and quiet strategies. In a hushed elegance, as the concubines assembled, their positions dictated by rank, significance, and the whims of the empress's ever-changing lunar preferences, the most esteemed women found their seats nearer to the sun-drenched side of the room, where the dumplings retained their warmth. What about the rest? Ah, savor the experience of your somewhat thickened rice porridge and the chill of that sidelong glance. The menus exuded a sense of opulence. Lotus seed paste, bird's nest soup, honeyed buns, a delightful tapestry of flavors waiting to be savored. Yet, you were anticipated to dine with the delicate fervor of a sparrow partaking in a juice cleanse. Kindly refrain from slurping. No chomping allowed. Certainly no burping shall occur unless one is prepared to express their regrets to their forebears in the elegant art of calligraphy. Even the chopsticks had to be grasped, as if they were fragile and steeped in regret. Many concubines mastered the art of consuming just the right amount to stave off faintness, skillfully avoiding any semblance of greed. A hearty appetite was deemed unladylike, insatiable. Take a moment to find your center and reflect, or quietly tuck some melon seeds beneath your sleeve and hope that no watchful eyes caught, savoring them in the shadows of a pillar. In the midst of it all, dialogue unfolded like a competitive event. Steeped in the art of subtle jabs and veiled intentions, words danced around the truth, leaving meanings unspoken. Today, your hairstyle tells a story all its own. It might suggest you resemble a goat caught off guard, or you find yourself teetering on the edge of disfavor. And I must admit, I revel in it. Each word was carefully chosen. Hidden snare. Should you inadvertently suggest that a person's hairpin appears aged, you may find yourself rising in the morning to a new role as chambermaid, the sole subject deemed secure, lauding the emperor, in abundance, forever and always. So audibly that an observer lurking nearby could easily relay the details. His Majesty's poetry is often described as divine, though it is widely acknowledged that the emperor's verses resemble the ramblings of a tipsy goose, yet it held no significance. Cheers erupted. Every performance was a world unto itself. In a hidden corner, a forgotten teacup cradled the essence of authenticity, waiting to be rediscovered. And so the most significant meal of the day unfolded, not in delight, but amidst the heavy atmosphere of a gathering of driven women, each one feigning camaraderie while silently plotting the downfall of the others with every delicate sip of tea. Indeed, it was more than merely the first meal of the day. It was a clash adorned in elegance. Once breakfast was concluded, and the veiled compliments had lingered in the air, the concubines transitioned into the next chapter of their day, living with flair, yet driven by intent. This was recognized as the act of being witnessed. A subtle dance of presence, balancing on the edge of visibility enough to remain in the minds of others, yet not so much that it sparks curiosity about the effort behind it all. After all, subtlety was a game played in the grand halls of power. You strolled through the gardens, not in a hurried manner like someone rushing to tend to their humble chores. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. You moved with grace, gradually, with intention, with at least 3 layers of brocade flowing behind you, reminiscent of the most opulent dust mop the world has ever seen. Extra accolades await if your hairpin sparkled in the light, dazzling a lesser concubine into momentary blindness. As you strolled through the inner courtyards, it was a moment to flaunt your new embroidered slippers, the ones that were still technically off limits, yet you held on to the hope that no one would catch on, or at the very least would choose to overlook it. Imagine a noble lady bestowing an unexpected compliment upon you, her words drifting through the air and reaching the ears of a gossipy eunuch nearby, amplifying the moment even further. That praise would travel swiftly, reaching the empress long before you arrived at the koi pond. Indeed, the true art lay in appearing at ease while executing this meticulously choreographed dance of significance. Overly laid back, and you appeared quite unmotivated, too rigid, and you appeared quite forlorn. The perfect balance, unfaltering menace. Your intention was not to seek anyone's admiration yet. If the emperor's gaze happens to fall upon you today, how fortunate that you decided to adorn yourself with the exquisite jade. And remember to include the embellishments. Every gentle flick of the fan, with each deliberate blink. Time seems to stretch, inviting the world to unfold in its own rhythm. Every subtly hidden grin was a stroke in your unspoken narrative. A single misstep in your gaze could ignite a whirlwind of whispers, leading to weeks of speculation and a thorough inquiry into whether you were, in fact, ridiculing Lady Wrong's ill-fated endeavor at an elegant hairstyle. one must remain vigilant for those who lurk in the shadows, ever ready to gather secrets. Not the thrilling, shadowy intrigue of a dagger lurking in the dark. No, these were elegant figures, with polished shoes, raised eyebrows, and a penchant for sipping tea while sharing the latest whispers. They possessed the Empress's attention, and perhaps even her complete collection of thoughts, a grin that stretches beyond measure. You have a playful charm, smile not enough? Seems you have a scheme in mind? The experience drained every ounce of energy. Yet essential, in the heart of the Forbidden City, if you slipped from view, you might as well have vanished into thin air. And unseen companions never receive advancements. They find themselves sent. To the embroidery room, from the embroidery room, no soul returns. Having been observed with elegance, enigma, and just the right touch of self-assured modesty, the moment has come to refine your most essential instrument. The instrument of your voice, not for gnawing. To enhance one's appeal. For within the walls of the imperial palace, authenticity was merely a choice. Yet, the art of praise was the guiding principle. If you found yourself pondering, "I'll simply be true to who I am," then congratulations are in order. As the sun dipped below the horizon, you would find yourself immersed in the ritual of cleaning. The calligraphy brushes, the accomplished concubine recognized that truth belonged to the realm of scholars. Your role was to behold the emperor's verses as if they had been penned by celestial beings, fused with divine inspiration. Even if it unfolded like the whimsical imaginings of a child lost in a fantastical slumber. There were guidelines, too. The art of flattery possessed a certain form and design. One cannot simply utter, "You look quite dashing today, Your Majesty." That was like presenting an empty canvas when the expectation was a masterpiece. Certainly not. Imagery was essential. Your Majesty's presence today is akin to the first delicate bloom of plum blossoms emerging after a long, harsh winter. Once upon a time, there was a place. Now you come across as a person worthy of an abundance of hairpins. Naturally, one must also pay homage to those deserving of praise, the emperor, without a doubt. Yet she is also the empress, the influential eunuchs. And at times, even those who stand against you, simply to play with their minds. Nothing quite captures the essence of intrigue like praising Lady Jen's embroidery and observing her descend into a week of paranoia. But tread carefully. Flattery. Was a blade that cut both ways? Not enough. And you felt the chill. Excessive. And you were not real. Find that perfect balance where the emperor believes you hold him in high regard, all while you cleverly maneuver to ensure next month's Golden Lotus bonus is in your grasp. Training sessions were held for this kind of endeavor. Whispered gatherings. Over steaming cups, where seasoned companions imparted the timeless skill of feigning awe without a hint of exasperation. With a single deft motion of the hand, a single elegant breath escapes. "Ah, a perfectly timed, oh, Your Majesty." And just like that, it happened. You've just climbed 2 rungs in the unspoken hierarchy that lingered in the air, a truth felt by all yet never voiced. At times, the emperor was nowhere to be found. Yet, you offered him your praise regardless too. The feathered creatures, the sturdy barriers, the delicate china vessels. For you could never be certain of the ears that were attuned to your words. Moreover, practicing never did anyone any harm. In the grand tapestry of the imperial court, the essence of truth often faded into the background. It was a tale of performance. And those who shone the brightest were adorned in the finest robes, or, at the very least, the comforting warmth of the dumplings. You charmed the emperor, navigated the treacherous waters of breakfast diplomacy, and glided through the palace grounds like a spectral figure in ornate slippers. What comes next? It's a moment to indulge in passions, or as they were referred to in the Forbidden City, sensual diversions crafted to keep one from descending into madness, or resorting to violence with a hairpin. These were more than mere pastimes in the contemporary understanding. No pottery wheel or sourdough starters in sight, and hone those refined skills you must if you wish to steer clear of the madness that comes from monotony. Embroidery held a special place in my heart. Picture yourself meticulously sewing delicate, golden dragons onto luxurious silk for 6 hours, all the while wearing a smile that suggests genuine delight. Did you let a stitch slip away? Ah, a little slip-up. That might represent the threads of your loyalty coming undone. It's time to begin anew. Calligraphy stood as another hallmark. It's not merely the action, but the essence behind it. Your strokes needed to be both gentle and firm. Much like your strategic choices in the political arena. Extra credit if you crafted a verse about chrysanthemums while cleverly weaving in a feint. Jab at your competitor. Ah, the enchanting realm of melodies. Indeed, every concubine of true merit had to gather the Gushini as she were a wistful cloud drifting through the sky. The notes needed to carry a sense of longing, as if you yearned for the emperor despite the months that had passed since your last encounter, and the likelihood that he had forgotten your name entirely. Should your melody become overly joyful, there's a chance someone could deem you suspiciously happy. Was promoted, it was limited to select works. No scandalous tales of love, no guides on political theory. Only the Confucian classics and moral tales where the women were portrayed as either obedient or lost to the shadows of the past at times. It can be a blend of both worlds. It was expected of you to delve into these pages and ponder how you might weave yourself into the narrative of another's life as a meaningful footnote, a testament to virtue and influence. Some concubines displayed their cunning. They transformed their passions into a captivating display of creativity. A stroke of the brush that evoked the image of a phoenix rising anew, that signified a new beginning. As it stands, I'm gaining favor. Lady Wrong, so relish that chilly nook of the tea room while you still can. The magic lay in the subtle details. Indeed, numerous concubines feigned a greater passion for these pastimes than they truly felt. Yet, beneath the surface, an unspoken truth lingered among them all. Hobbies were merely grand chambers of anticipation, adorned with plush upholstery. You were not weaving tales. Time slipped away from you, the touch of artistry, naturally. For when the sun sets on the day, the finest course of action is to remain occupied. Maintain your poise, and hope that the emperor's curiosity leads him to seek you out. Following a leisurely morning filled with creative languor, sweet words, and intricate needlework, the concubines stepped into the most pivotal part of their day. Whispers over midday meals, yet let not your eyes deceive you. This was more than mere banter shared over dumplings. This was a tale of intrigue woven in luxurious fabric. The whispers of the palace held a deeper significance than mere amusement. It was a dance of wits, a web of social intrigue, and a subtle play of emotions cloaked in the guise of innocent inquiry. When whispers floated through the air that Lady Hua had been spotted weeping by the bamboo pavilion, the intrigue lay not in the reason for her tears. It was a question that lingered in the air, echoing with curiosity. Who truly benefits? Whispers traveled swifter than the formal decrees of the court. In the grand tapestry of the palace, eunuchs, maids, and lower-ranked concubines emerged as the most adept couriers, weaving through the corridors with secrets and messages in their hands. A single hushed doubt in the east wing could transform into a full-blown tale by the time tea was served in the west courtyard. You catch someone saying, "I probably shouldn't be telling you this." Know that they've likely already shared this secret with a few others and are simply getting ready to spill more. The whispers danced, like a feast of intrigue. In which corridor was the hairpin discovered, and to whom does it belong? Who collapsed unexpectedly during music practice, and who appeared to be lacking color? Subtle hint at the possibility of being with child, unwell, or perhaps scheming. Something sinister. At times it can be a blend of all three, yet whispers weren't solely focused on others. You needed to craft your own tale, whisper the right tales of your own making, and in an instant you become an enigma, cherished, profoundly lyrical. Share the misguided tales, or even worse, remain silent, and you risk fading into obscurity, which in the grand tapestry of the palace was merely a courteous expression for the one destined to fade into the shadows. Some concubines danced through the game with the finesse of true artisans. They sewed deceptive tales merely to revel in the chaos of others' distress. In a twist of fate, One concubine wove a tale of her own exile, crafting a narrative that would allow her to return in a flourish. Reveling in the spotlight of dramatic intrigue, what you see isn't mere chatter. It's a captivating display of creativity, yet whispers carried their own dangers. Should your name find its way into the wrong murmur, you might be called for interrogation quicker than you can utter. I promise I was merely referencing Lady Ping. Refusing to acknowledge the truth only deepened the shadows. The approach was a blend of wide-eyed naivety and understated payback, often delivered through intricately woven metaphors or seemingly lavish praises. For in the end, whispers were more than mere survival. It was a challenge that called upon your recollections, your cleverness, your capacity to maintain a grin while someone attempted to sabotage you with steamed buns. At this juncture in your daily journey, you've woven flattery, shared whispers, and wrapped yourself in a delicate veil of ethereal charm. Yet the true tension begins to unfold. The selection of the evening in the grand tapestry of the empire. The emperor's schedule wove a tale of intrigue, a secret known only to a select few eunuchs, a handful of diviners, and perhaps a wandering crane that happened to pass by. With the dawn of each new day, a favored concubine would be selected to attend to His Majesty's needs. A phrase that carries a hint of homeliness, yet holds the potential to signify everything from genteel tea, sipping to, perhaps, the preservation of a lineage. Of course, the desire to be selected was palpable among all, not due to any fondness for him, as most could hardly recall his appearance, but because attention equated to power, presence, and perhaps even an elevation to the status of a consort, which offered the enticing advantage of marginally cozier chambers during the winter chill. But how does one come to be selected? Ah, my esteemed audience, that was the essence of the craft. Hair held all the significance. It needed to be flawless, every strand perfectly arranged, unless it was deliberately disheveled to evoke a sense of untamed yet noble desire. Hairpins transcended mere decoration. They were bold statements. A phoenix pin proclaimed, lush and grand. A lotus bloom whispered, innocent yet receptive to ideas. A jade cicada, a symbol of rebirth and immortality, whispers tales of ancient times and forgotten legends. In truth, the meaning remained a mystery to all. Yet when Lady Wen donned it, she found herself summoned not once, but twice within the span of a single week. But the essence of timing held great significance as well. One must tread carefully, for appearing too eager can echo of longing and neediness. Yet, in the shadows of obscurity, the danger of fading away loomed large. The aim was to seem gracefully occupied, precisely as the eunuch strolled past. Neither hurried nor lazy, simply a marvel of happenstance. Rumors swirled through the air, suggesting that certain ladies had resorted to bribing the eunuchs to ensure their names were elevated above the rest. Some chose to fast for 3 days, seeking an otherworldly appearance. One ambitious soul spun a tale of a shooting star, declaring it a celestial beckoning from the heavens. Though she wasn't the one selected, she sparked a small wave of inspiration. Many evenings concluded with a sense of letdown. For each conjured concubine, 10 others offered polite smiles, took off their dragon earrings, and endeavored to mask the urge to scream into a silk pillow. Once more, yet, hope stood unwavering. Perhaps, come tomorrow, you shall be the chosen one. Or perhaps not. Within the walls of the Forbidden City, patience transcended mere virtue. It became an essential duty. Huzzah, you have been chosen for this remarkable journey. The eunuch cast a glance your way, one that spoke volumes, the one that beckons. Yes, tonight it's your moment to dive into one of the most peculiar job descriptions ever crafted in elegant calligraphy. To serve the Son of Heaven was not merely a privilege, it was a sacred calling for countless concubines. It felt like an elaborate performance, where the absence of feedback left them in a constant state of uncertainty. To begin, one must first undergo a cleansing ritual, not alone but by the court attendants who regarded each toe as a significant relic of political intrigue. You were polished, scented, and adorned until you resembled not a mere mortal, but a delicate treasure bestowed upon the empire. hygiene transcended mere cleanliness. It embodied a quest for symbolic purity and, let's face it, a necessary strategy for damage control in an era devoid of deodorant. And so, the wardrobe appeared. You didn't merely ease into something cozy. Your attire was a cascade of intricate robes, each layer transforming the simple act of raising your arms into a mesmerizing performance of grace and artistry. Your hair needed to be just right, a fragrance that whispers yet commands attention. Your demeanor exudes a calm anticipation, reminiscent of a host preparing for a dinner gathering that was never on the agenda. And so, the path unfolds toward the emperor's quarters. Walking was forbidden for you. That would be far too noble. Instead, you were gently cradled upon a woven tapestry. Indeed, without a doubt, a small band of eunuchs lifted you with a mix of clumsiness and caution, carrying you across the sprawling palace grounds like an uneasy, oversized ham. It held a deeper meaning. What is it about? Embracing the art of yielding, elegance, and perhaps a touch of whimsical organization upon entering the imperial bedchamber. One was required to maintain an air of utmost poise. Silence was your only companion, unless summoned by another's words. Only engage an eye. Contact when it is welcomed, and certainly no drifting off to slumber before His Majesty had closed his eyes. It could prove to be quite the trial if the emperor happened to be the sort of individual who preferred to delve into celestial alignments for an hour before addressing the matters at hand. And what of the act itself? Once upon a time, in a space where anticipation hung thick in the air, the chill of the room matched the weight of the hopes that filled it. In the aftermath, you found yourself not merely cast aside. You have been recorded in the annals of time. The palace staff diligently documented the days each concubine was summoned, not for the sake of idle chatter, but to trace the intricate lines of lineage. If a little one graced their lives 9 months down the line, they had to determine who would receive the heartfelt congratulations sash that celebrates the beginning of a beautiful family journey. Indeed, the nuances of bedroom etiquette extended far beyond mere whispers between pillows. It was a grand tapestry of dynasty management, woven together under the enchanting glow of mood-lighting dot. So the night has been spent within the grand chambers of the emperor. Well done, or perhaps a heartfelt farewell, depending on the twists of fate. Regardless, the palace stirs at dawn, and you too must rise with the sun, even if your spine now resembles a question mark, contorted from resting on an imperial lacquered platform. Bed crafted more for beauty than for the comfort of human vertebrae. What shall we tackle first? Once upon a time, there was a humble cup of tea, a great abundance of it. It's not due to an overwhelming thirst, but rather because the tea provided a purpose for your hands, while the other concubines watched you with the keen, curious eyes of cats fixated on a door that remains firmly shut. You've transformed from being one of us to becoming that one. For today, at the very least, in the tea room, the threads of strategy began to weave anew. One was anticipated to arrive with a sense of renewal, radiating vitality, and ideally, moving with grace, even if His Majesty merely inquired about the weather and dozed off mid-sentence. One had to embody the essence of a woman who had single-handedly preserved the dynasty. The art lay in smiling just enough to weave an air of mystery, yet not so much as to imply any sense of triumph. As you savored your tea with an air of nonchalance, the true game commenced. Unraveling the enigma of your presence, was your hair a bit unruly, perhaps dancing in the breeze? Intentional or authentic? Have you been bestowed with a hairpin as a gift? Was it truly gold, or merely bronze that had been polished to a brilliant shine? Did a new bracelet find its way to your wrist? Or perhaps an absence of jewelry, hinting at either profound admiration or deep disillusionment? It was never put forth in a straightforward manner, naturally. Such behavior would be quite improper. Yet, all eyes were upon the scene unfolding. With great attention, there were others who shared a keen interest. The eunuchs meticulously recorded their observations. The Empress's spies recorded their observations with greater precision, and the Chief of the Bureau of Ceremonial Accounting, a title that truly exists, made certain that the meeting was documented in the official records. in case a little one happened to arrive in 10 moon cycles. What if you found yourself expecting a child? So you found yourself woven into the fabric of the state, valuable thread in its grand tapestry. Yet if the odds held true, the dawn that followed would usher in a sense of familiar routine. Once more, the pedestal stood for a fleeting moment. The piercing glares lingered throughout the week, with a gentle smile. You nodded in acknowledgement of the dubious praise regarding your complexion, steeling yourself for yet another day filled with anticipation, hushed conversations, and the delicate art of maintaining your sanity. Having shared a night with the Emperor and emerged unscathed from the morning tea trials, you have truly achieved something remarkable. You have now become a formidable force. Certainly not to the throne, I assure you, to the fragile sensibilities of countless other women who have also committed the book of etiquette to memory and possess 37 methods to convey disdain with nothing but a fan. But let me tell you, life in the harem was far from a mere beauty pageant, my friend. In the midst of a chilling conflict, its shadows danced with the unpredictable nature of rogue forces. Each concubine harbored dreams, faced familial expectations, and held a steadfast conviction that she was meant to ascend beyond her peers. As fate would have it, the narrative took on a lyrical quality. In the most precise sense, poetry, transformed into a tool of quiet confrontation, emerged as the preferred form of expression. Why engage in a physical clash when you can weave a verse that challenges your opponent's integrity through the delicate imagery of blossoms? Imagine, if you will, that Lady May began to capture the spotlight in an instant. A poem would weave its way through the courtyards, speaking of a withering lotus that bloomed far too often beneath the enchanting glow of the moonlight, nuanced, harsh in a curious twist of fate. These verses found their way into the fabric of palace life, whispered over cups of tea, delicately stitched into handkerchiefs, or left to gather dust on silk scrolls tucked away in the shadows of grand corridors. A fiery spectacle for all to witness. Confidential delivery. There shall be no clash. Only murmurs, knowing glances, and a mutual fondness for the art of literary betrayal. Some concubines, particularly the seasoned ones, mastered the art of flattery that stung like venom. Your robe stands out magnificently in this light. Only a person of genuine conviction would take such a bold step. It's truly remarkable how you continue to embrace the rouge from the southern provinces. The charm of yesteryears. Indeed, it transcended mere words. Tokens of affection were yet another means to assert your presence. When the Emperor bestowed upon you a necklace, it became your constant companion, adorning your neck even as you practiced the delicate strokes of calligraphy. As you cradled the exquisite peach in your hands, your gaze drifted to a rival indulging in a common pear, the contrast between the two fruits telling a tale of their own. Though the Empress seldom stooped to such depths, she possessed her own formidable array of tools, whispers of icy nods, unexpected demotions, and the rare shift to a tranquil wing of the palace danced through the air. A gentle way to describe the experience of being cast away from society and the monotony that follows. Yet amidst the unfolding events, the rules stood steadfast. There shall be no clashes, no raised voices, and certainly no tarnishing the fine silks with your sorrow. Rivalry was a craft, and like all noble crafts, it needed to be exquisite, devoid of violence, and utterly impactful. In a grand palace teeming with politically savvy women and vigilant eunuchs, one discovers that there are but two paths to navigate the intricate web of life. Stitching tales woven with threads of eerie unease. It was without a doubt the more captivating of the two. The Forbidden City unfolded like a tapestry, woven with omens, dreams, and celestial whispers, in a serene moment by the imperial koi pond. Cat let out a delicate sneeze, breaking the tranquil silence of the scene. That was a portent. The flame danced gently as thoughts swirled in your mind, harboring unkind thoughts about Lady Shu, that signified the ancestors were casting their gaze upon you. Discovered a crimson feather nestled among your rice. Without a doubt, it's the work of magic or a crowing bird of dawn. In any case, Foreboding concubines were not merely women seeking to ascend the political hierarchy. They were part-time seers. Each dream you held was cherished as if it were a sacred verse from an ancient tome. Have you ever envisioned the beauty of rainbows? Fortune smiles upon you. Envisioned flames? Peril? Did you envision the emperor? It's wise to keep that one under wraps, unless it's accompanied by a stroke of fortune. Indeed, nothing captured the imagination quite like the bold assertion of having encountered a specter. Whispers of spirits danced through the palace halls. It's a favored subject of intrigue, just shy of the latest debates on the harmony of robe hues and their alignment with one's essence. Softly suggesting that a shadowy figure lurked beyond your chamber was a masterful way to ignite a wave of panic. And with perfect timing, it could postpone a rival's tea ceremony for as long as you desired. The emperor had a profound fascination with omens. The stars wove their influence into every aspect of life, guiding decisions from the art of war to the timing of a soothing soak. A minor solar eclipse might spell 2 weeks of no intimacy, a situation that could evoke either a sigh of relief or a crushing blow for some concubines in their intricate lives. And then came the visits to the temples. Concubines frequently found themselves tasked with praying for the emperor's well-being, the dynasty's prosperity, or, if we're honest, for a personal advancement cloaked in the guise of collective harmony. The greater the incense you presented, the more virtuous your appearance became. The more theatrical your praying stance, the higher the chance that someone would perceive your devotion as genuine rather than merely for show. Some concubines ventured to weave an enchanting mystique around themselves. They would weave their words with mystery, casting deep looks into the tranquil lotus ponds, while their eerily quiet pet birds perched in stillness. To my astonishment, it unfolded beautifully. Nothing conveys a sense of power quite. It's like being the woman who converses with spirits and once foresaw a hailstorm with uncanny accuracy. Indeed, spirituality held significance, yet its true value lay in its practicality. To age gracefully within the confines of the imperial harem was not merely a matter of acquiring wisdom. It was an intricate dance of blending into the very fabric of the surroundings, becoming one with the ornate wallpaper that adorned the lavish chambers, present lingering in the background, holding a semblance of respect, yet often overlooked unless someone sought guidance on hair accessories or the best herbal brews for alleviating discomfort. The melancholy reality. Time reigns supreme, a cruel master, surpassing even the might of the emperor. And as your youthful radiance began to fade, perhaps around the age of 26, you gracefully shifted from the role of a potential mother of heirs to that of a lady of leisure, possessing an extraordinary mastery of embroidery techniques. Officially, you weren't let go, of course. This was the Grand Palace, a far cry from a mere merchant's stall. Instead, you found yourself in a noble setting, nestled within a serene pavilion that offered a charming glimpse of a wall. Advancements within the harem frequently signified a departure from significance. But that certainly did not imply your days were devoid of intrigue. Morning rituals lingered, hair awaiting its oil, and the delicate task of weaving peach blossom poetry with layers of symbolism beckoned. But what of the summons to the emperor's private quarters? Scarce and scattered until they fade away completely. When that day arrived, the eunuchs would cease to list you on the rotation scroll, and you would feign ignorance, sipping your chrysanthemum tea with the calmness of one who had emotionally departed 3 dynasties prior. Some elder concubines embraced this as a sign of favor. Cease all plotting. Farewell to those migraines brought on by rouge. Let go of the concerns about entangled relationships. Some, on the other hand, leaned into their passive-aggressive remarks, transforming into living warnings for the younger girls. In times gone by, we relied not on jasmine oil to exude an enchanting fragrance. We possessed an enchanting charm and carried ourselves with grace. Your new companions, primarily fellow retired concubines, a handful of sagacious old maids, and at least one former favorite who now crafts poetry laced with subtle jabs about desire and retribution, yet hope still lingered. Should you navigate the situation wisely, You might find yourself in the role of a beloved confidant, the one whom others turn to for wisdom whispers, or assistance in deciphering enigmatic messages of affection. You had transformed from the vibrant flame into a revered guardian of the remnants, holding the stories of what once was, or at worst, a most reserved and courteous spirit, adorned in elegant brocade. Life as an imperial concubine was not merely a dance of veiled threats and the subtle fluttering of fans. At times, advantages drifted down like delicate petals carried by a whimsically orchestrated wind of politics. One simply needed to discern the right places to cast their gaze, or perhaps merely feign interest in the surroundings, while quietly absorbing the whispers of others. Let us begin with the offerings. Ah, the treasures! Silks woven with the whispers of the South, porcelain crafted in the ancient heart of Jingdezhen, and hairpins so finely honed they could serve as weapons in a moment of peril. And it frequently came perilously close. In moments of delight, or simply when the emperor found himself in a state of ennui, he would dispatch intricate gifts to those he favored. Ah, the delight of being gifted a robe adorned with the elegance of swans. Were you present? Obtaining nothing? Ah, savor your tea in the shadows, my friend. Ah, but let me share a little secret. It transcended mere possessions. It was all about the witnesses to your triumph. Tokens of affection, markers of prestige, and the spark of dialogue. Ah, this exquisite jade pendant, merely a trinket that His Majesty had tucked away. He remarked that it brought to mind the color of my eyes. Or could it have been the ox belonging to his grandmother? Regardless, the message has been understood, and so it was that whispers circulated. The very essence of a finely tuned harem, whispers danced through the air like laughter, swirling around the lantern festival, as tales and tidings poured forth with the same ease as wine from a bottle. Who dared to cough in the emperor's direction? Who was seen shedding tears by the lotus pond? Who, it is said, discreetly placed a love poem beneath the emperor's dumpling plate? Truth danced on the edge of choice. Drama was essential. In the grand tapestry of the palace, eunuchs emerged as the clandestine heralds of whispered tidings, while those concubines who mastered the art of flattery and offered sweet tokens often found themselves privy to the latest revelations before anyone else. Lady Chen finds herself troubled by a rash. Word has it, though I shouldn't be the one to tell you, she recently paid a visit to that rather dubious apothecary, and then the true delight arrived. Fleeting visions of strength, elusive, ephemeral, and perilously captivating. When a concubine brought forth a son, she acquired a measure of influence. Should she bring forth the son, she would transform into a pivotal force in the realm of politics. Even those without children could wield power if they honed their skills in emotional persuasion, impeccable timing, and the ability to appear hauntingly beautiful amidst the tempest. Some were bestowed with the opportunity to influence minor court decisions or were dispatched as diplomatic symbols to sacred temples. And although much of it was ceremonial, it still brought a sense of satisfaction to be sought out for something beyond the usual witchy sense to ignite under the moon's glow. In essence, it wasn't quite the act of governing China. Yet there you were, commanding your domain within the palace, wielding a fan, arching an eyebrow, and with any luck, enjoying a room that was a touch more splendid than those of the other ladies. For imperial concubines, existence unfolded like a delicate tea ceremony, teetering on the edge of a tightrope, exquisite, ritualistic, and just one misstep from a rather uncomfortable farewell notice. Falling out of favor often unfolded quietly without the grand gestures one might expect. At times, it unfolded with the hushed certainty of a ruler who, for 3 feasts in a row, chose to ignore your presence entirely. In one fleeting instant, you were the radiant moon of the 9th hall, and in the next, you found yourself as that. Woman burdened by a cat allergy, the palace buzzed with a fleeting energy, darting from one distraction to another like a creature caught in a whirlwind of excitement. Now, let us delve into the tale of poison, the unconventional method of conflict resolution favored in the enigmatic Forbidden City. It held an air of secrecy, a touch of ambiguity, and was just a shade less nuanced than the art of passive-aggressive. Stitching from the delicate lotus seeds to the fine facial powder, each item held the power to dissolve a rivalry, or, at the very least, spark a prolonged spell of enigmatic internal dampness. In the shadows of the palace, some concubines met their fate through a gradual dance with poison, a hint of tainted tea here, a whisper of a suspicious cake there. One by one, they simply vanished from the hair-combing ceremonies, leaving behind only whispers and intrigue. Others fell away with the swiftness of a whisper, lost in a grand hall of lords. Misfortunes were a frequent occurrence. Gliding across gleaming surfaces, succumbing to an unexpected ailment after a seafood feast, and experiencing enigmatic nosebleeds. It unfolded with a certain rhythm, each moment echoing the last in a dance of inevitability. And thus, the decree of banishment was proclaimed. Not entirely the end, but certainly near. Should you incur the wrath of the emperor, or best the favored one in a cunning game, you may discover yourself exiled to a remote, moss-laden pavilion nestled at the far reaches of the palace grounds. It was picturesque, no doubt, yet even a prison can boast beautiful landscaping. Your presence would dwindle, your offerings would fade away, your name would slip from the annals of the inner court like a forgotten nightmare, lost to the shadows of memory. Even more troubling, is being taken to a sacred place to be called to a life of prayer felt less like an elevation in faith and more like a socially sanctioned departure from the world. You would exchange your lavish fabrics for simple garments, your captivating tales for fragrant offerings, and your fleeting encounters for profound conversations about the meaning of the lotus. But here's the twist. Safety was always an illusion. Even the beloved can stumble. One missed cue, one misinterpreted dream, one scroll misplaced in the wrong chamber. And suddenly you became just another tale murmured behind painted screens. In the grand halls of the palace, beauty may wither away, yet the echoes of our missteps linger on. When all was spoken and intricately woven, the imperial concubines faced one last endeavor. Endure through the ages, so that your tale may be told, or perhaps even embellished in a way that casts you in a favorable light. The tale of legacy in the forbidden city was a complex enigma. Many concubines slipped quietly into the delicate embrace of history's soft golden wallpaper, their names obscured beneath countless footnotes and the rare chipped ceramic figurine. Yet a handful, they persisted, woven into the fabric of whispers, tales, and accounts penned with remarkable skill by those who, it was said, were barred from the art of writing. Consider, if you will, the captivating realm of harem memoirs. These exquisite scrolls, frequently written without attribution by former concubines, palace attendants, or perhaps simply by exceedingly bored court historians, provided personal insights into the luxurious yet treacherous realm of the inner court. Yet, they were not so much reliable accounts as they were vivid tales woven from the fabric of imagination. Laced with threads of reality, whispers of hidden love, and moonlit walks beneath the glow of lanterns danced through the pages of certain memoirs. Others wove intricate tales of poisoned dumplings and mysterious flower arrangements, each thread rich with intrigue. Amidst the melodrama and the wise reflections, the message resonated unmistakably. To be etched in memory was the finest form of retribution. Those who brought forth imperial heirs certainly had a more favorable chance at leaving a lasting legacy. Their names graced the pages of genealogies, adorned the walls of temples, and, with a stroke of fortune, found a place on the rare lacquered plaque. Some found their way to glory by defiantly clinging to life, refusing to fade into the shadows. A tale of intrigue, a tragic farewell, or an oddly timed affliction that could secure your legacy quicker than 100 silk robes ever could. Yet at times a legacy transformed into a narrative of warning. Do not follow in the footsteps of Lady Lin, who found herself in a heated dispute with the Empress over a mere hairpin, ultimately leading her to a temple accompanied by just one servant and a slight allergy to geese. These tales were exchanged over delicate teacups, softly passed down through the ages, and cleverly wielded by mothers-in-law throughout the epochs. Ultimately, for every cherished concubine, there existed countless others who faded into the ether like wisps of incense, momentarily sweet, swiftly lost to memory yet. If this tale reaches your ears tonight, it may be that one or two of them have triumphed. They glided through the stillness, parted the delicate drapes of history, and proclaimed, "Behold, I am here, and I have thoughts to share." In the early years of the 17th century, Kyoto stood as a bastion of elegance and tradition, a place where the delicate art of poetry readings, the tranquil rituals of tea ceremonies, and the profound calm of no theater reigned supreme in the cultural landscape. Into this realm of poised elegance glided, or perhaps twirled, a woman destined to rattle the core of Japanese performance art. Once upon a time, there was a maiden named Okuni. Hailing from the sacred lands of Izuma, she stood on the brink of crafting a creation that would be nothing short of revolutionary vivid. Daring and sure to stir both outrage among the highborn and fascination among the common folk, Okuni took to the stage along the arid banks of the Kamo River, a place where everyday folk and traders came together to revel in the art of performance. Her dances flowed with a wild spirit. Far removed from the structured grace of UN, they were vibrant, brimming with grand gestures, clever banter, and a bold playfulness that engaged the audience directly. Adorned in stunning attire, she boldly blended garments of both genders into playful ensembles, infusing her acts with sharp wit as she playfully mocked priests, warriors, and the elite. The allure was instant. As the audience gathered, they were captivated not just by the uniqueness of Okuni's performance, but also by the rebellious spirit that radiated from her presence on stage. She gathered a group of women, each with stories that society often preferred to keep in the dark: entertainers, courtesans, and those who possessed an undeniable magnetism. This initial incarnation, referred to as Ono Kabuki, or women's kabuki, swiftly gained notoriety for its allure, wit, and playful defiance. Yet, in the meticulously governed realm of the Edo period, where the Tokugawa shogunate endeavored to oversee the fabric of public morality, these performances found little favor with the powers that be. The shogunate harbored concerns that the blending of actors and audience, frequently transcending the confines of the performance, might disturb public harmony and tarnish moral integrity. Indeed, their perspective held a grain of truth. Kabuki served not only as a vibrant stage for performance, but also as a lively gathering place for the community. In the year 1629, the authorities made a decision that many anticipated, as prohibiting women from taking the stage entirely, claiming it was due to concerns of immorality. Yet, rather than extinguishing kabuki, the ban reshaped it. In the vibrant world of wakashu kabuki, young boys stepped into the spotlight, channeling the grace of women through their intricate costumes and artful makeup. Yet this only unraveled a deeper web of intrigue. But that tale awaits us in the next chapter. In that fleeting moment before the prohibition, Okuni's kabuki emerged as a groundbreaking phenomenon. A vibrant burst of hues, sharp wit, bold performance in a realm that had settled for serene ritualistic expression. Unbeknownst to her, she had just ignited a creative journey that would shape the essence of Japanese theater for generations to come. In the year 1629, a significant decree emerged from the Tokugawa shogunate, casting women away from the vibrant world of the kabuki stage. This move, though seemingly resolute, aimed to stifle the unruly spirit that Okuni had once ignited. In reality, it felt akin to attempting to halt a mighty river with nothing but a fragile paper fan. The audience's hunger for kabuki was boundless, and savvy entrepreneurs were determined not to let a mere government decree disrupt their flourishing enterprise. What was their answer? Substitute the actresses with charming young lads wakashu, skilled in embodying the grace, allure, and charm of the original female stars. The rise of wakashu kabuki was nothing short of meteoric. In a vibrant display, these young performers donned identical, shimmering costumes, their faces adorned with striking makeup that had become synonymous with the art of kabuki. They embraced the same dramatic gestures and playful expressions that once captivated audiences during the era of Okuni, yet a surprising turn awaited. Their performances sparkled with a lively, mischievous spirit, and their allure drew in not just female admirers, but also a notable crowd of male patrons. The outcome: kabuki took on an even more provocative allure than ever before. In the vibrant heart of the city, theaters transformed into lively gathering places where samurai, merchants, artisans, and townsfolk intertwined, each bringing their own stories to the charged atmosphere. And though the plays captivated the audience, it was widely understood that a vibrant world thrived just beyond the stage curtains. The anxieties of the government were manifesting once more. As kabuki danced along the delicate edges of artistry, allure, and unrestrained immorality. In the year 1652, the shogunate took decisive action once more, imposing a ban that targeted wakashu actors. Yet rather than extinguishing the art form, it transformed yet again. The next chapter, Yaro Kabuki, ushered in a new era where adult men took center stage, each embracing one of two unique roles: onagata, those remarkable men who embodied female characters with an elegant flair, and tachiaku, the bold actors who brought powerful male figures to life. This remarkable development not only preserved kabuki, but also established one of its most legendary customs: male performers taking on every character in the production, a tradition that endures in kabuki to this day. Yet the wakashu era etched its legacy into the fabric of time. It solidified kabuki's standing as a realm of allure, elegance, and audacious social commentary. The vibrant hues, the elaborate attire, and the electric exchanges between the performers and the audience transformed into lasting elements. It revealed a truth that the authorities would never fully grasp. With each attempt to stifle kabuki, its allure only grew stronger, weaving a tapestry of fascination that drew in the curious. As the dust settled on this tumultuous journey, kabuki transformed into something far beyond mere entertainment. In this vibrant clash of cultures, the very essence of art and morality was put to the ultimate test, all under the watchful gaze of the shogunate's authority, and the tale was only just beginning to unfold. As the ban on wakashu took effect and adult men took center stage, the world of kabuki began a remarkable transformation. One of the most captivating developments was the emergence of the onagata, male performers who dedicated themselves to embodying female characters rather than a mere clumsy imitation. Onagata performance evolved into a refined and disciplined art form. These performers delved into the nuances of feminine movement, the gentle tilt of the head, the graceful glide of the feet, and the delicate way a hand might linger over a fan before revealing its beauty. Their aim transcended mere persuasion. It was to channel a dreamlike, artistic representation of femininity, a vision that thrived solely within the elevated realm of kabuki. The onagata also revolutionized the art of costuming and makeup in a tapestry of vibrant silk kimonos. Each layer told a tale, complemented by elaborate wigs that seemed to possess a weight of their own, demanding gentle guidance for the actor. To glide with elegance, the essence of makeup transformed into a symbol, transcending mere realism. Faces of a ghostly hue, adorned with soft crimson accents framing the eyes, and gentle whispers of pink that evoke the essence of youthful allure. Each decision, whether it be the breadth of a sleeve or the tilt of an eyebrow, held significance. In the meantime, the male leads, known as techiaku, began to forge their own unique conventions. They held their ground with unwavering resolve, their voices resonating in powerful rhythmic cadences, frequently punctuated by the dramatic thud of their feet against the earth. The interplay of onagata's elegance and tachiaku's vigor crafted the vibrant tension that characterized the essence of kabuki's theatrical artistry. During this time, kabuki started to weave its gestures and movements into kata, creating precise and repeatable forms that would tell a story through every motion. A subtle shift of the head, a momentary halt, or a striking pose, at the pinnacle of tension, served as cues for the audience, guiding them precisely when to gasp cheer, or express their admiration with a flurry of paper fans upon the stage. These movements were anything but natural. With intention and flair, they crafted a spectacle that transcended reality, enveloping the audience in a realm that was both fantastical and deeply resonant. The audience of the Edo period craved bold narratives over understated realism. They craved a grand display, and kabuki wove its magic. In the shadows, the shogunate's censors worked tirelessly to tighten their grip on the narratives, banning specific political themes and the portrayal of current scandals. Yet the masters of kabuki artfully wove their critiques into the fabric of historical tales, deftly guiding their social observations past the vigilant gaze of those in power. At this point, kabuki had transformed into something much grander than Okuni's humble riverside performances. It had transcended mere spontaneous performances on the streets. It was an intricate craft, steeped in rules and traditions, boasting a style so unique that it stood apart from all others. As the mid-17th century unfolded, kabuki blossomed, with the vibrant cities of Edo, now known as Tokyo, and Osaka emerging as its lively centers. In a time long past, the humble riverbank stages gave way to grand permanent theaters, marking a pivotal transformation for kabuki. What was once a wandering spectacle evolved into a revered cultural institution, forever changing the landscape of performance art. In Edo, the grand theaters of Nakamuraza, Ichimuraza, and Nadamuradasa engaged in a spirited rivalry, each striving to surpass the others with increasingly magnificent productions. Renowned actors and ever more intricate stagecraft, these theaters transcended mere venues for performances. They were vibrant gatherings, alive with the pulse of social interaction. A kabuki performance unfolds over the course of an entire day, divided into multiple acts, with intermissions that invite the audience to meander, savor delicious bites, and share whispers of intrigue. In a bustling scene, merchants sought out the finest boxes to accommodate their families, while samurai, ever so discreet, would find their way in despite the barriers of class. Outside, street, vendors thrived, peddling an array of snacks, souvenirs, and vibrant illustrated woodblock prints of the actors truly, the celebrity posters of their time. Theater districts such as Edo Saruakacho transformed into vibrant centers of trade and amusement. As the playhouses flourished, inns, tea houses, and restaurants emerged, weaving a tapestry of social gatherings and indulgent experiences, making each theater visit a delightful blend of artistry and camaraderie. Performers, particularly the renowned Onagata and Tachiyaku, were celebrated with the fervor of rock stars. Their images graced ukiyo-e prints, and their unique mannerisms and fashion left an indelible mark on popular trends. Admirers emulated the manner in which a cherished performer secured his sash or grasped his folding fan. Much like contemporary enthusiasts might replicate a film icon's coiffure, in the vibrant streets of Osaka, kabuki unfolded with a unique twist, captivating all who witnessed its performance. In the heart of Japan lay a bustling metropolis, revered as the commercial capital, where the discerning audiences were celebrated for their exquisite taste. Osaka productions wove together intricate plots and emotional depth, nurturing the wogoto style, characterized by softer, more romantic acting in contrast to the bolder, a rougher, arigoto style of Edo. A vibrant cultural rivalry blossomed between the two cities, as actors frequently journeyed back and forth to showcase their remarkable versatility. During this golden age, the art of stage technology began to blossom and thrive. With revolving stages, trapdoors, and dramatic costume changes, Haikunuki, the performance transformed into a captivating spectacle, ensuring that audiences were perpetually astonished. The outcome was a captivating journey that intertwined the realms of imagination and the tangible world. As the 17th century drew to a close, kabuki transcended its role as mere entertainment. In the bustling heart of Edo and Osaka, it played a vital role in the fabric of urban existence. It boasted its own legends, passionate following, and a bustling marketplace. For the burgeoning townsman class, kabuki transcended mere theater. It was the essence of self, the art of style, and the pulse of the urban landscape. As the 17th century drew to a close, the world of kabuki acting began to diverge into two unique styles, each reflecting the vibrant cultural essence of its respective city. In Edo, the vibrant heart of the shogunate, where ambitious warriors and rising merchants thrived, the crowds craved tales that were grand, daring, and pulsating with life. This gave rise to Aragoto, which translates to rough style, born from the brilliance of the iconic Ichikawa Deonjiro Aragoto emerged as a theatrical spectacle, brimming with boldness and flair. Champions emerged as monumental figures, their voices resonating like thunder, each step echoing with purpose, and their stances so striking that even those seated far away could sense the heartbeat of the performer. The costumes were grand and elaborate, adorned with vibrant hues and intricate patterns, often depicting powerful dragons or tumultuous waves that reflected the essence of the characters they embodied. With thick, bold kumadori makeup, actors became vibrant living masks, adorned with red lines to signify courage, blue to embody villainy, and black to represent the supernatural. It unfolded like a vibrant woodblock print, a spectacle designed to astonish and captivate. The vibrant streets of Osaka and the serene temples of Kyoto, a unique flavor was beginning to unfold. In that realm, merchants, with their fondness for elegant etiquette and nuanced narratives, were drawn to Wagato, the gentle style, celebrated by Sakata Tajiro Thurn. In Wagato, the protagonists were tender-hearted, passionate, and frequently imperfect, swept away by romantic entanglements, miscommunications, and instances of deep emotional exposure. The performance highlighted a fluidity of movement, gentle tones, and a depth of emotion. Prioritizing authenticity over grand displays, the costumes exuded elegance without being overly extravagant, and the makeup embraced a softer approach, accentuating the natural beauty of the actors' features. These two styles revealed deeper truths beyond mere artistic choice. They reflected the very essence of the city's social fabric. Edo's vibrant, dynamic spirit called for boldness and daring feats, whereas Osaka's refined charm leaned towards cleverness, love, and heartfelt connections. For those who gathered, the difference added to the enjoyment of the experience. An Edo theatergoer might erupt in applause for a fierce Aragoto warrior, while an Osaka admirer would lament the heart-wrenching tale of a tragic Wagato lover. Performers frequently honed their craft in a singular style, yet the most adaptable. Luminaries became adept in multiple forms, traversing cities and tailoring their artistry to meet the unique desires of each audience. This blending of influences allowed kabuki to stay vibrant and inventive, simultaneously widening the gap between its two artistic hubs. As the 18th century approached, Aragoto and Wagato emerged not merely as acting styles, but as the very essence of kabuki's dual identity. In unison, they infused the art form with a captivating depth capable of stirring the audience to raucous applause one evening and evoking silent tears the next, solidifying kabuki's allure throughout the diverse tapestry of Edopiade society. In a time long past, before the rise of contemporary pop icons and the allure of Hollywood stars, the stage was graced by the mesmerizing presence of kabuki actors. In the Edo period, they stood as deities among mortals. These performers were not merely recognized, they were revered. Devoted admirers learned every line, emulated their style, and packed the theaters, eager for a fleeting sight of them gliding down the Hanamichi, that iconic path cutting through the crowd like a runway designed for spectacular arrivals. Figures such as Ichikawa Danjuro, with his striking presence embodying the bold style of Aragoto, rose to fame in Edo, while Sakata Tojiro, the enchanting virtuoso of Wagato, captivated audiences in Osaka. Yet this was not mere admiration, the kind that comes with a polite, restrained applause. It was an all-consuming passion. Devoted admirers gathered exquisite woodblock prints known as yakushai, capturing the enchanting likenesses of their beloved stars. These prints found their way into countless homes and shops, adorning walls much like the cherished posters of youth. In a testament to their unwavering loyalty, some fans have chosen to etch the names of their beloved actors onto their skin, creating a lasting tribute to their admiration. The allure of kabuki actors captivated the public not merely through their performances, but through the enchanting aura they exuded. The finest among them radiated charm, enigma, and profound emotion, both in the spotlight and beyond. They wove a tapestry where the boundaries of their roles and reality intertwined, embodying romantic heroes one day and finding themselves entwined with affluent patrons or formidable samurai the next. The whispers that surrounded them added to the excitement of the tale. Some actors embraced this fame with a touch of theatrical elegance. They orchestrated grand exits, only to make triumphant returns in spectacular comeback performances. They crafted distinctive poses, unique voice inflections, and striking makeup styles, each one a hallmark that resonated throughout the kabuki realm. This transcended mere performance. It was the art of crafting a legacy, Edo style, undoubtedly. Fame carried its own set of perils. Conflicts among actors occasionally erupted into real-life confrontations. Fan clubs. Indeed, they were a reality. At times, there were spirited disagreements about seating arrangements or allegiance to certain performers. And scandals were bound to unfold. Entanglements with esteemed samurai, participation in clandestine gambling operations, or secretive betrayals could spark a whirlwind of public excitement and governmental investigation. Yet, the kabuki actor's prominence as a public figure stood apart from all others in Edo's society. In contrast to the samurai or the nobility, the stars of kabuki rose to prominence through their remarkable talent. Captivating charisma and undeniable theatrical allure, they were enigmatic figures, cherished by the masses, viewed with suspicion by those in power, and utterly unforgettable. In a world where the lives of many were bound by the rigid chains of class and convention, kabuki actors emerged as beacons of freedom, radiating glamour and embodying the essence of humanity. They transcended mere performance, embodying the essence of legends, captivating the public in ways that left them yearning for more. If you believed kabuki actors were merely there for the spectacle, reconsider your perspective. The visual spectacle was but a part of the enchantment. As the actor graced the stage, each delicate thread of silk and every stroke of paint whispered tales waiting to be unveiled. Indeed, the visual design of kabuki was so vibrant, so emblematic, and so meticulous that it could almost shout across the space without uttering a single word. Let us embark on a journey through the realm of costumes. These were not merely garments. They were vibrant bursts of color and energy, igniting the world around them, flowing garments in striking reds, rich purples, and dazzling golds. The embroidery was so intricate it seemed as though it had been crafted by divine beings with an unyielding attention to detail. Dragons, cranes, crashing waves, and swirling clouds were woven into garments that felt as heavy as a small child. A solitary shift in character can set off a whirlwind of activity behind the scenes, where a dedicated crew executes breathtakingly swift haikunuki transformations, stripping away the outer layer of attire in a single theatrical motion to unveil an entirely fresh ensemble, all while the scene unfolds around them, then arrived. The makeup, referred to as kumadori. This wasn't mere contouring. It was a declaration of battle. A thick layer of white foundation enveloped the actor's face, while bold, expressive lines and vibrant hues danced across, reflecting the essence of each character they embodied. Red symbolized strength and integrity, while blue hinted at malevolence, specters, or deep emotional turmoil. Brown, on the other hand, suggested an otherworldly resilience. These designs transcended the mere appearance of humanity. They were embodiments of symbols brought to life. You didn't merely observe the hero or the demon. Their emotions unfolded. Before you liked the pages of an ancient tome, let us not overlook the wigs, which were so intricate they warranted their own spotlight. Majestic heights of hair, cascading locks, or intricately twisted updos, crafted to dance in harmony with the actor's artistry. Some wigs were crafted for grand unveilings or metamorphoses, transforming a humble peasant into a regal princess with a single theatrical twirl. The stage became a character in its own right, featuring trapdoors, rotating platforms, moari butai, and the striking Hanamichi runway that wove through the audience, enhancing the spectacle. Kabuki enveloped the senses in a vibrant whirlwind of sights and sounds. The illumination. Bright and unfiltered, the light of day reigns supreme. The performers were tasked with conveying emotion, not merely through their dialogue, but also through form, hue, and motion. Each visual aspect of Kabuki was amplified, rich in symbolism, and meticulously crafted. It wasn't merely realism. It was a tapestry of aesthetic narrative, where costumes and makeup transcended their roles to become the very essence of the drama itself. In a time devoid of digital effects, Kabuki achieved the extraordinary transforming silk, pigment, and wood into sheer enchantment. Life beneath the Tokugawa shogunate was far from a haven for free expression. The authorities maintained a firm hold on the actions and voices of the people, particularly when it came to anything that hinted at opposition to their rule. So what was the role of Kabuki? It became quite astute. Truly ingenious, Kabuki theater not only endured censorship but flourished, skillfully weaving together implication, metaphor, and historical disguise into its very fabric. The shogunate imposed strict limitations, silencing any contemporary political themes, critiques of the ruling class, or anything that might disrupt the social order. Thus, the Kabuki playwrights journeyed back in time. In particular, the Jidaimono, or period plays, employed historical backdrops to reflect on contemporary matters. It was akin to declaring, "This has absolutely nothing to do with the present regime," but rather a tale of a samurai from 4 centuries, past commitment. Yet the audience saw through the facade. They sensed the echoes of a nobleman's treachery reflecting a recent scandal, or the chilling cruelty of a villain resonating eerily with that of a high-ranking official. Another beloved approach was the sawamono, or domestic plays, which delved into the daily challenges faced by ordinary individuals, hearts divided by the weight of duty. Traitors battling the shadows of deceit, warriors grappling with the loss of their noble code. These narratives subtly unraveled the fabric of society, illuminating its injustices, hypocrisies, and moral contradictions with a deft touch. The audience found reflections of themselves upon the stage, evoking laughter, tears, or even fury in a moment of shared understanding. Even the Anagata found its place within the tale of subversion. These male actors, embodying idealized female characters, frequently portrayed women as the emotional and moral core of the narrative. In an era when genuine women were barred from the spotlight and frequently silenced by law, Kabuki emerged as a vibrant canvas, granting them a voice and depth through the magic of performance. Could it be a clever jest, strength and inspiration? Both indeed. Perhaps. The impact of censorship extended its reach into the realms of language and symbolism. Specific phrases, gestures, costume choices transformed into hidden messages. A cherry blossom could represent the ephemeral nature of beauty or the abrupt decline of a prominent individual. A delicate shift in hue might hint at a character's treachery. It was a complex tapestry, and discerning listeners understood how to uncover the hidden meanings woven within, in the shadows. Government censors slipped into the audience often, cloaked in anonymity. Yet the true genius of Kabuki lay in its masterful ability to provide them with just the right amount of plausible deniability. At first glance, it appeared to be a world filled with movement and theatrical flair. Below the surface, it revealed a reflection, bold, unapologetic, and profoundly insightful. In this intricate interplay of expression and control, Kabuki rose, not merely as a target of censorship, but as its most imaginative challenger. It didn't merely follow the script, it crafted a new narrative altogether. As the Edo period came to an end in the 19th century, Kabuki emerged as a vibrant beacon, a dynamic narrative of Japan's urban essence, capturing its trials, its joys, and its complexities. Yet it refused to settle for mere nostalgia. Kabuki persevered, evolved, and ultimately secured a cherished spot, not only in the hearts of the people of Edo, but also within the very fabric of Japan's national identity. Through the ages, marked by innovation, scandal, censorship, and reinvention, kabuki emerged with a rich and intricate grammar, a unique language woven from movement, makeup, costume, and music that eluded simple replication. As Japan embraced the West during the transformative Meiji Restoration of the late 1800s, a faction of the elite sought to overshadow kabuki, favoring the allure of modern Western-style theater. Yet kabuki stood resolute. Instead, it stood firm, embraced its heritage, and showcased its strength, determined not to be overshadowed by powdered wigs and violin melodies. Performers transformed into cultural emissaries. Legendary families such as the Ichikawa and Nakamura dynasties have woven their roles through the fabric of time, ensuring that the vibrant legacy of kabuki endures across generations. Heritage held great significance. Contemporary Ichikawa Danjodo was not merely performing. He was embracing a legacy steeped in the rich tapestry of theatrical traditions spanning centuries. Every performance transcended mere theater. It became a sacred ritual, a thread of continuity, and a heartfelt homage. In the midst of it all, the quest to safeguard the art of kabuki grew ever more fervent. Timeless scripts found their place in archives. Schools of training emerged, and the art of stagecraft was honed and organized with care. As the 20th century dawned, kabuki emerged not merely intact through the waves of modernization, but it also found its sacred place in the cultural tapestry. The Japanese government honored it as a significant, intangible cultural treasure. In time, UNESCO embraced it as a cherished element of the world's intangible cultural legacy. Yet, let us not confuse the act of preserving with the notion of remaining still. Modern kabuki actors embrace the art of reinterpretation, skillfully adjusting their pacing and discovering innovative methods to engage with today's audiences, all while honoring the essence of the tradition. Some productions embraced contemporary lighting, sound effects, and multimedia projections, weaving together the past and present in a manner that Okuni herself might have found wonderfully audacious. Today, whether gracing the Grand Kabuki Bazaar in Tokyo or finding new life on a school stage in a quaint rural town, kabuki continues to weave its enchanting magic. It serves as a poignant reminder to Japan and the world that theater transcends mere entertainment. It's a tale of recollection. It is the essence of who we are. It's a timeless conversation weaving through the ages, articulated in the delicate threads of silk, vibrant hues, and the resounding cheers of an audience, and in a distant realm where the Mai pose resonates, and the wooden gator thunders, one can imagine Okuni wearing a smile. Long before the dazzling matadors made their grand entrances in shimmering attire upon the sun-kissed sands, and long before the fervent cheers of the Spanish crowd mingled with the thunderous charge of a fierce bull, there existed the Romans. As they claimed the Iberian Peninsula and transformed it into the province of Hispania, they carried along more than mere aqueducts, togas, and the intricacies of Latin grammar. They unveiled the grand spectacle of crimson drama. In the grand arena of ancient Rome, the public games captivated audiences, especially the Vena Zones, where man faced off against beast in a dramatic spectacle that defined the essence of entertainment in that era. In these grand displays, fierce creatures like lions, bears, and, indeed, bulls were set against skilled combatants, or at times, allowed to unleash their fury for the entertainment of the crowd. In the heart of Hispania, where the land is both wild and majestic, the presence of mighty bulls made it an ideal backdrop for tales yet to be told. In the grand arenas, where echoes of excitement filled the air, throngs of spectators converged. The majestic bulls embarked on their transformation from revered creatures of ancient Iberia to icons of thrilling disorder and breathtaking display. Yet, as the Roman Empire fell in the 5th century, its grand arenas started to decay, taking with them the elegant framework of the games that once captivated the masses. Yet, the notion of confronting a bull, of pitting raw power against the indomitable spirit of humanity lingered on. It quietly slipped beneath the surface. What was once an exclusive gathering for the elite gradually evolved into a cherished rural custom. intricately intertwined with community celebrations and the rhythms of the seasons, in the shadows of the fields and the heart of the village, where the whispers of the past lingered. Farmers, villagers, and wandering performers breathed life into the age-old concept, nurturing it through small, fierce, and unsanctioned acts. As the years passed, the charming remnants of Roman entertainment transformed into beloved cultural staples in medieval Spain, though the term Venexones has faded from use. The spirit of spectacle endures. The concept of humanity in conflict with the wild, portrayed not merely as a struggle, but as a form of expression. A tale observed by the masses, frequently culminating in triumph or tragedy, it had not yet transformed into the spectacle of the bullfight we recognize in modern times. In this scene, the absence of matadors adorned in golden threads and the lack of embroidered capes dancing in the sunlight paints a vivid picture of what is missing. Yet, the essence of bullfighting, a captivating mix of artistry, peril, and societal fascination, had firmly established itself. The fervor for storytelling that once thrived in the heart of the empire continues to pulse with life. It had merely removed its helmet, seized a crimson cloth, and patiently awaited the Middle Ages to bestow upon it a new identity. In the soil of ancient Roman ruins, where the spirits of gladiators lingered alongside the fierce bulls they confronted, a distinctly Spanish tradition began to awaken. In the year 711, a wave of North African Muslim armies surged across the Strait of Gibraltar, embarking on a conquest that would forever alter the cultural fabric of the Iberian Peninsula. They wove together the threads of science, architecture, poetry, and an unwavering passion for horses. Though the Moors were not the originators of bullfighting, they contributed a vital element to its medieval transformation and sophistication. In a realm defined by poised sophistication, the mastery of the rider held equal weight to the exhilarating rush of the gallop. In the era of Moorish dominion, the art of horseback riding emerged as a symbol of aristocracy. In the grand courts of Al-Andalus, the caliphs and emirs orchestrated vibrant public exhibitions where skilled riders showcased the noble art of ferucia. This code of mounted warfare and chivalry celebrated the virtues of agility, posture, and precision, captivating all who beheld the spectacle. These performances frequently showcased hunting displays with wild game, highlighting not only military prowess, but also a captivating theatrical flair. The horse was more than a mere instrument. It was a partner in a graceful dance, and the rider embodied both the artistry of a performer and the spirit of a warrior. And now, the bull makes its grand entrance. In the rich tapestry of Moors' beliefs, bulls held a place of reverence within certain poetic narratives. Yet their true fascination lay in the demonstration of mastery over these majestic creatures, rather than in the pursuit of sport through their demise. In the early days of Moorish Iberia, whispers of horseback contests featuring bulls can be found scattered throughout the tales of the time. Not chaotic scenes of carnage, but rather ceremonial exhibitions of valor and mastery. Imagine a gallant figure, gracefully maneuvering around a powerful bull, showcasing an exquisite blend of poise and skill. Not a mere act of violence, but a vivid display of mastery over disorder. In those early days, the contests had yet to evolve into what we now recognize as modern bullfighting. They transformed from rigorous military drills into a captivating blend of sport and performance, showcasing the art of horsemanship. Yet, it was essential that they sowed the seeds for what would eventually blossom into the Regionio, the equestrian style of bullfighting that continues to thrive in the present day. These events, even more importantly, unfolded in the public eye. As the sun dipped low, throngs of onlookers assembled, eager to witness the nobles display their audacity, opulence, and the grace of their impeccably trained Andalusian steeds. The boundaries separating military training from public spectacles started to fade away. As the ages unfolded, these noble displays began to weave themselves into the fabric of local customs, blossoming at festivals and town festivities. As the Christian knights embarked on their quest to reclaim the peninsula during the Reconquista, their mission transcended mere territorial conquest. They embraced the Moorish passion for the art of elegant equestrianism. The outcome was a vibrant blend. A Roman display, infused with Moorish elegance, and soon blossoming into Christian celebration. United in their vision, they embarked on crafting a groundbreaking performance, destined to elevate both the man and the bull to the forefront of the spectacle. And what of the horse? It would echo as the silent, resounding pulse of the arena. As the Christian kingdom steadily took back the Iberian Peninsula throughout the lengthy Reconquista, their struggle was not merely a holy war against the Moors. They were weaving together, reshaping and evolving the rich tapestry of centuries-old cultural fusion. And nowhere was this more vividly showcased than in the unfolding drama of the bullfight. Brave knights, now just returned from the fierce clashes of war, sought to showcase their courage and prowess in the grand spectacle of tournaments. In these grand public spectacles, nobles showcased their mastery of horsemanship, their prowess with weapons, and their undeniable bravado. Yet, as jousting captured the hearts of Northern Europe,
Spain was quietly crafting its own unique tale. The art of bullfighting, or more aptly,
the dance of challenging the bull, began to command the spotlight. During this time, the art was referred to as Torio a Caballo, a captivating spectacle of bullfighting on horseback. In a vibrant tapestry woven from the grandeur of Roman spectacle and the Moorish passion for equestrian mastery, Christian nobles embarked on thrilling exhibitions, gallantly charging at bulls with lances, all under the watchful eyes of exuberant crowds. It transcended mere entertainment. It was a tale spun to influence minds. A valiant knight, masterfully guiding a raging bull, embodied the triumph of divine order over the tumult of ancient beliefs, or, depending on the flair of your imagination, the glorious victory of the divine over the forces of darkness. These moments were woven into the fabric of religious festivals, coronations, military victories, and other grand state occasions. They unfolded like grand spectacles, adorned with vibrant banners, the sound of trumpets echoing, and the sight of intricately decorated armor captivating all who beheld them. The bull transformed into something far beyond mere livestock. It stood as a striking contrast, a vivid embodiment of peril, the wild, and the trials that life presents. In contrast to the refined matador duels that would emerge in later centuries, these medieval battles were unrefined and visceral. At that time, the art of the torero had yet to find its masters. Among the participants were noble aristocrats, valiant knights, and esteemed military elites, each viewing the event as a profound personal rite of courage. Injuries were a frequent occurrence, tragedies unfolded. Yet to yield before a bull signified a loss of dignity. In the heart of medieval Spain, one would find it far more bearable to part with a limb than to see their reputation tarnished. These valiant bullfighters evoked a sense of wonder. They sparked a wave of emulation. Throughout Spain, community celebrations started to embrace their own versions of these contests, inviting the spirit of friendly competition among locals. In the heart of farming villages, spirited young men, fueled by the boldness of wine and the fire of youth, would seek to mirror the bravado of their lords, daringly taunting or skillfully evading the powerful bulls. And so, the grand spectacle started its descent, flowing from the majestic royal courts into the bustling town squares. As the late Middle Ages unfolded, the bullfight evolved into a dual tradition, noble sport played from horseback and a thrilling spectacle embraced by daring souls on foot. Both were in a state of growth and evolution, preparing for the momentous transformation that awaited when the matador would make his grand entrance. As the late Middle Ages unfolded, the spectacle of bullfighting transcended its exclusive realm. It was no longer confined to the silk-clad nobles who once paraded beneath royal banners. It started to weave itself into the very essence of daily Spanish existence, flowing from grand palaces into vibrant plazas. What started as a showcase of noble talent transformed into a vibrant community tradition. Lively, perilous, and deeply rooted in local pride. In the quaint towns and villages of medieval Spain, the vibrant bull festivities wove themselves into the very fabric of religious celebrations, harvest feasts, and the cherished days honoring saints. In stark contrast, to the refined exhibitions of the aristocracy. These gatherings unfolded in a whirlwind of chaos, spontaneity, and delightful improvisation in the heart of cobbled streets and makeshift arenas. Bulls were unleashed, and young men, brimming with unrefined courage and an abundance of pride, would rush forth, leap into the fray, taunt their formidable opponents, or desperately strive to survive the chaos. And so it began, the dawn of bullfighting on foot. In a realm devoid of lances, armor, and steeds, it was all about the rush, the courage, and the mere fabric you could brandish before a thundering creature. These novice bullfighters sought not the sound of applause, but the elevation of their standing. A triumphant close pass, a bold sidestep, or a thrilling leap over the horns could earn the roars of the crowd and the soft admiration of the local girls. And it wasn't merely a tale of indulgence and boldness. The town started to see the allure of these gatherings. In the heart of the community, local leaders crafted sturdy wooden barricades, raised viewing stands that offered a glimpse of the action, fashioned simple yet effective rings for the gathering crowd. In the heart of tradition, bull runs, known as encierros, have woven their way into the fabric of culture, with some enduring through the ages, such as the celebrated San Fermin festival in Pamplona. Though they flowed with spontaneity, these events started to weave themselves into a tapestry of structure. Characters began to take shape, and the faint outlines of a narrative began to unfold. In a pivotal moment, the lack of horses transformed the entire landscape. A man confronting a bull on foot demanded a unique blend of abilities. Where agility triumphed over sheer force, rhythm took precedence over raw strength, and performance eclipsed mere power. And with that shift, a fresh element wove itself into the fabric of tradition, bringing a touch of theatricality. Movements transformed into artful expressions. Costumes radiated with vibrant hues, and the audience was no longer mere spectators of a competition. They were captivated by a dazzling performance. This transformation ignited a crucial shift, marking the rise of the bullfighter as a profession. As the throngs swelled and legacies were forged, some individuals emerged, not only for their valor, but also for their elegance. They didn't merely endure the bull. They twirled and swayed alongside it. The night was gently slipping away from the spotlight. A new figure emerged, bold and vibrant, yet rooted in reality, a dazzling presence shaped by the streets. The foundations of the contemporary matador had begun to take root. In the heart of medieval Spain, the bull transcended mere existence. It embodied a profound symbol, intricately interlaced with the spiritual and ceremonial cadence of life. Evolution of bullfighting during this period was not a solitary journey. It wove itself into a grand narrative of sacred observances, communal traditions, and joyous gatherings. In the heart of the medieval era, the Spaniards possessed an unparalleled talent for crafting a celebration steeped in drama and reverence for the divine. In nearly every town, there existed a beloved patron saint, and with that cherished figure came a special day of celebration dedicated to their honor. In these vibrant celebrations, one could witness lively processions, spirited dances, delectable food, enchanting music, and, naturally, the majestic bulls that added to the spectacle. The Fiesta Terrena unfolded not as a mere event on a calendar, but as a vibrant eruption of ritual energy, intertwining the sacred and the profane into a resounding celebration. In a vibrant scene, the churches bestowed their blessings upon the bulls, while priests led a solemn procession. Yet mere hours later, the atmosphere shifted dramatically as local men launched themselves into the dusty square, facing off against that same revered creature. It was a performance indeed, but also a heartfelt commitment. The mighty bull, fierce and untamed, emerged as a symbol of sin, temptation, or perhaps the very essence of the devil. To stand before it was a challenge. That called for bravery, strength, and unwavering belief. To endure was to earn respect. Should you meet your end, let it be known that it was done with flair and in the presence of an audience. The town square emerged as the heart of the unfolding drama. In the heart of bustling cities, temporary wooden arenas sprang to life, often gracing the spaces before grand churches or civic buildings. balconies transformed into prime viewing spots. The rooftops of taverns transformed into exclusive enclaves from their lofty perches. The local nobles observed with keen interest as the commoners congregated below, leaning against fences that stood precariously, uncertain of their strength. When the bull charged near, the vibrant spirit of the festival infused the bull with an undeniable energy. These creatures were more than mere accessories. They were crafted, honed, and showcased with great pomp, with a resounding blast of trumpets. Banners unfurled in the breeze, and a palpable silence enveloped the crowd as the gate creaked open. From its depths emerged the creature not as a mere victim, but as a legendary adversary ready to face its fate. Every performance, be it filled with bloodshed, humor, or awe, wove itself into the very fabric of the town's identity. Bull festivals unfolded like tales in motion, recounted annually, weaving together local legends and fostering a sense of community pride. As the ages unfolded, the festival bullfight transformed from a wild spectacle into a graceful performance. A fresh cadence was taking shape. The courage displayed by everyday champions on the streets started to transform into a more organized spectacle, evolving from mere conflict into a graceful dance. The bullfight was transforming into a captivating spectacle. As the late Middle Ages unfolded, a remarkable transformation began to take shape. Bullfighting had transformed, evolving beyond a mere noble pastime or a simple village dare. It was transforming into a craft. And with that transformation emerged a fresh archetype. Not a gallant knight clad in gleaming armor, or a tipsy farmhand in a simple linen shirt, but a skilled artist, a master of spectacle, creator of bravery. From the depths of the earth, the torero emerged. A sacred space woven with the threads of tradition and spirit. The ascent of professional bullfighters was not an instantaneous event. It all started with a name. In the heart of the community, there emerged a few remarkable souls, hailing from modest beginnings, who captured the admiration of many. With grace and poise, they faced the mighty bulls, showcasing a remarkable blend of skill and courage that left an indelible mark on the local scene. These were not thoughtless individuals. They were masters of strategy. They grasped the bull's cadence, its signs, its intricacies. They crafted unique techniques, weaving together dodges, passes, and feints, bestowing names upon each one like cherished characters in a grand tale. What had once been a whirlwind of disorder was transforming into a graceful dance. The torero existed not merely to endure, he arrived with the intent to captivate. Style held great significance. Your movements flowed like a carefully crafted narrative, each angle and step revealing a deeper layer of intention and artistry. Every piece wove itself into an expanding tapestry of meaning. As these techniques grew in familiarity, audiences found themselves increasingly anticipating and yearning for them. In essence, the audience had grown weary of mere chance and sacrifice. They craved a tale filled with tension and intrigue, sought a touch of brilliance. They sought mastery. In this era, we begin to witness the emergence of specialized training. Young men with dreams of stepping into the ring would seek guidance from the seasoned warriors of the sport. They would immerse themselves in the art, refine their movements, and delve into the mind of the bull. The craft was evolving through the ages, handed down, honed, and safeguarded like a treasured legacy. This transition brought with it a transformation in clothing. The humble garments of the village and the ostentatious armor of the knights had vanished. In the early days, toreros adorned themselves in vibrant and extravagant costumes, drawing inspiration from the elegance of courtly fashion and the creativity of theatrical design. Vibrant hues and striking contrasts emerged as essential elements, not merely for the sake of visual delight, but to ensure that every gesture was unmistakably visible to the audience. Attire, much like the dance itself, wove seamlessly into the tapestry of the performance. The torero symbolized a fresh chapter in the tapestry of Spanish society. A humble individual, rising through talent rather than lineage, he was a figure among the masses. It possessed an ethereal quality, confronting mortality not through sheer force, but with a graceful finesse. As this figure emerged in the arena, the essence of the bullfight transformed from a mere ritual and brawl into a captivating spectacle of elegance, peril, and burgeoning renown. As the spotlight began to shine ever more brightly on the torero, another figure of equal importance emerged in this unfolding medieval tale. The bull itself, only the most extraordinary creature would suffice. As the spectacle of bullfighting transformed from humble village gatherings into a grand, symbolic art form, the bulls too had to adapt and evolve alongside this changing narrative. That signified a singular purpose, the continuation of lineage. Meticulously chosen, strategically planned, and profoundly earnest cultivation. As the late medieval period unfolded, the enchanting lands of Spain, especially Andalusia, emerged as a realm renowned for its remarkable bulls, creatures of extraordinary size, fierce temperament, and unwavering endurance. These creatures were not mere happenstance victors. Breeders turned their attention to distinct characteristics: broad horns, robust builds, and above all, a fierce nobility. The perfect bull didn't merely rush forward, it captivated the audience. With its grace and power, it glided with intent, reacted to the cape, and exhibited a raw, cunning intellect. A bull that merely trotted in endless loops was a bore. A bull that stood its ground, deciphered the matador's every move, and adjusted its strategy in the arena. That was the true treasure. In the early days, families embarked on the journey of establishing bull ranches, the humble beginnings of the magnificent ganaderias that continue to reign over the world of Spanish bullfighting today. These endeavors spanned generations, as calves were nurtured into bulls under careful watch, their dispositions meticulously noted and evaluated. Not everyone found their place in the circle. Only those with the fiercest spirit and perhaps a touch of danger earned their place in the final selection. In a twist of fate, these bulls enjoyed a more comfortable existence than numerous peasants. They wandered through vast estates, enjoyed ample nourishment, and thrived in nearly untamed environments to maintain their vigor and instincts. In a twist of fate that felt almost lyrical, a life filled with tranquility and ease culminated in a dramatic and violent end. Breeders were not merely providing animals. They were crafting the essence of the bullfight itself. The bull's unpredictability added to the unfolding drama, yet it remained within certain boundaries. A formidable bull must possess a certain danger. Indeed, yet it should also be predictable. Enough for the torero to dance with elegance. At the core of the spectacle lay a delicate interplay, a dance between chaos and choreography. As the years passed, some bold bloodlines rose to legendary status. The fate of a ranch often hinges on the prowess of just one bull, shaping its legacy in the eyes of all who behold it, as the crowd erupted in applause for the star matadors. They also started to remember the names of the toros bravos, those courageous bulls who had carved out their own legendary status in the arena's dust. In the vibrant tapestry of medieval Spain, the bull transcended its role as a simple creature. In a realm where destinies intertwine, there existed a character, a villain, a hero crafted by the hands of fate itself, born in the lush embrace of ancient pastures. This figure bore the weight of centuries-old bloodlines, fated to meet their end beneath a cascade of fabric and the roar of applause, as the bullfight evolved into a more structured, symbolic, and breathtaking spectacle. It yearned for a fitting sanctuary. Temporary wooden barriers and bustling town squares could only serve their purpose for so long. In the twilight of the medieval era and the dawn of the Renaissance, Spain embarked on a remarkable journey, constructing bull rings plazas de toros meticulously, designed not merely for safety, but to evoke a sense of theatrical splendor. And so, the bullfight gracefully transitioned from a cherished folk tradition to a grand spectacle on the national stage. In the beginning, the bull rings were humble creations, mere temporary circles crafted for the joy of a festival, only to be taken down once the celebrations faded. Yet, as the occurrences grew in frequency and stature, enduring edifices started to emerge in the annals of history. One of the first tales unfolds in Zaragoza. soon joined by others in the vibrant cities of Seville and Madrid. Picture circular arenas, reminiscent of ancient Roman amphitheaters, where tiered seating invites thousands of eager spectators to behold every thrilling movement in the sand. The form of the ring was no mere coincidence. The circle granted the bull the freedom to roam, devoid of corners to conceal itself, out, while providing the torero ample room to execute the fina, a sequence of passes that would shape the essence of bullfighting for generations to come. The design embraced the narrative, spacious enough for grandeur, yet intimate enough to draw you in. It's always crafted to ensure that the unfolding events remained the heart of both sight and feeling. Every ring wove its own tapestry of rituals. There were grand boxes, fit for kings and nobles, allowing them to oversee the spectacle in all its glory. Others possessed orchestras that heralded various moments in the battle. With flags unfurled, the drums beat a thunderous rhythm. The trumpets heralded the grand arrival of the bull. It was a grand spectacle, filled with drama and emotion, far beyond mere competition. Significantly, the emergence of the bull ring transformed what the audience anticipated. They were no longer mere spectators of a clash. They found themselves immersed in a grand spectacle. As the seating took shape, so too did the unfolding of the event. The battle unfolded in distinct phases, governed by established rules, time constraints, and a carefully crafted sequence of movements. This standardization transformed bullfighting into a grand spectacle, a national ceremony celebrated throughout the land. From bustling metropolises to quaint hamlets, the Plaza de Toros transcended mere architecture. It was a transformative experience. Within its walls, the echoes of centuries past, intertwined with tales of myth and the pulse of raw adrenaline. As these grand arenas expanded in size and renown, they transformed the bullfight from a mere local spectacle into a profound embodiment of Spanish identity, a vivid tableau where history, culture, and mortality intertwined in a harmonious, dusty ballet. As the medieval period drew to a close, bullfighting transformed into something far beyond a mere pastime. It had woven itself into the very fabric of culture, a vivid thread in the tapestry of the Spanish imagination. What started as a collection of scattered rituals, nightly games, and the delightful chaos of village life has evolved into a grand spectacle adorned with stylized performances, defined rules, celebrated heroes, and a loyal audience. The medieval bullfight etched its legacy in more than just blood upon the sand. A vivid outline for the essence of a nation's identity emerged from it. The tradition had woven together threads from every chapter of Iberian history. It was the Romans who ignited a passion for the arena, crafting the very essence of public performance. From the Moors, a tale unfolds, weaving together the threads of control, elegance, and the art of confrontation. From the noble knights of Christ, a vibrant display of pageantry, valor, and gallant deeds in the public eye. From the hearts of the everyday folk emerged unfiltered emotion, spontaneous creativity, and a remarkable instinct for survival, all laid bare and unprotected. United, these elements forged a legacy that intertwined the realms of ritual performance. In warfare, bullfighting transformed into a captivating spectacle. It was regarded as a mirror of the essence of Spain. With a fierce spirit, embracing destiny, filled with fervor and resolute in the face of mortality. As the early Renaissance dawned, the art of bullfighting found its way into the skilled hands of dedicated professionals. In a time long past, the valiant knight laid down his lance, making way for the matador whose capes danced in the air, feet firmly grounded, and gaze unwavering as he faced the fierce creature charging toward him. The grand display had taken on a defined form, roles took shape, stages were set, and the language of the ring emerged with the precision of a sacred ritual. Yet as the ages unfolded, the whispers of medieval Spain lingered on. The bull strode in amidst a chorus of celebration. The audience erupted with fervor as a man stood bravely before the specter of death. All eyes upon him. The plazas brimmed with countless souls, all aware that what unfolded before them transcended mere sport. Not quite. It was a time-honored tradition, woven through the fabric of history, with origins that stretched far beyond what many could fathom. The echoes of medieval bullfighting resonate beyond mere costumes or choreography. It lies in the spirit, an unwavering determination to confront peril head-on, an embrace of elegance amidst the shadows of mortality, a conviction that bravery transcends mere physicality, weaving itself into the very fabric of creativity. And whether it brings joy or sorrow, it's a tale that continues to unfold, each time the trumpet blares and the gates creak open. In the heart of medieval Ireland, when a weary traveler rapped upon your door, there was no moment to linger in inquiry about their identity, their origins, or their desires. With a gentle push, you revealed its secrets. In the days of old Gaelic society, hospitality transcended mere virtue. It was a duty woven into the fabric of one of Europe's most ancient legal traditions, the Brehon Laws. This was far from the gentle embrace of Celtic hospitality. This was no ordinary affair. In the realm of Brea, the legal code wove a tapestry of duty, binding every free soul to extend the warmth of food, shelter, and the shield of protection to guests, particularly those weary travelers or unfamiliar faces who crossed their threshold. To turn away hospitality was not merely an act of rudeness, it was a breach of the law, a misstep that could result in hefty fines, tarnished reputation, or even public shame. When a guest graced your home, they were held in the highest regard, and throughout their visit, their comfort and safety rested in your hands, should any harm, insult, or discomfort befall them. The host would bear the weight of the blame. The warmth of hospitality was intricately woven into the very fabric of Irish society during that era. In a time long past, a vibrant tapestry of clans, chiefs, poets, and farmers wove their lives across the rolling hills, lush valleys, and misty bogs of early medieval Ireland. On the desolate roads, one would find neither state run-ins nor the watchful eyes of royal patrols. The journey held peril at every turn. Finding a refuge was a rare treasure. What sustained the very fabric of society beyond the bonds of family was the unspoken promise of mutual obligation. Today's guest might just become tomorrow's guardian, or minstrel, or arbiter. Yet the tale unfolded beyond mere safety. It was a tale woven with threads of honor in a realm where one's standing was as valuable as gold. The manner in which you welcomed visitors held great significance. A gracious host garnered admiration, honor, and a sense of divine fulfillment. A miserly soul faced derision, penalties, or even worse, a biting verse from a poet whose words could tarnish your name more swiftly than any blade. Hospitality transformed into a captivating display, a ceremonial offering of nourishment, comfort, and embrace that conveyed, "You are within my domain, and I shall tend to your needs." Even the most elusive outlaws and wandering bards found refuge within these ancient laws. Turning away someone who has called upon the sacred tradition of hospitality could signal a fracture in the bonds that hold our community. Together, the guest transcended the role of a mere visitor. They became a fleeting member of your household, brought forth by the hands of destiny and enveloped in the rich embrace of tradition. Indeed, in the days of medieval Ireland, the stranger was greeted with open arms, for to do otherwise was unthinkable. To grasp the significance of hospitality in medieval Ireland, one must delve into the system that upheld it. The Brehon Laws. These were not ancient decrees passed down through the ages, nor were they upheld by the might of armored enforcers. The Brehon Laws unfolded as a vibrant tapestry of customary codes, shared through the ages in spoken word, evolving with each generation. They were anchored in principles of fairness and reciprocity, rich with intricate details about the care of guests, their resting places, and the proper response to the theft of a pig. In a world where the Brehons reigned supreme, these skilled jurists became the keepers of the law, embodying the roles of mediators, judges, and living libraries of knowledge. Their legal system thrived in the absence of a centralized monarchy, or a standing army showcasing a unique harmony among the people in the days of old. Ireland stood not as a singular kingdom, but as a vibrant tapestry woven from the threads of various clans, each led by its own chieftain, accompanied by brave warriors and diligent farmers. The law wove the fabric of society, with hospitality standing as a vital thread in its intricate design. The Bryan Code not only suggested hospitality, mandated it. Comprehensive legal documents detailed the duties of hosts and the entitlements of guests. In a time long past, there existed a set of rules that dictated the duration of a guest's visit, usually limited to 3 nights. These guidelines also specified the type of food and bedding that should be offered, tailored to the host's standing in society. Furthermore, they outlined the appropriate responses should a guest dare to insult their host or linger beyond their welcome. In the realm of hospitality, there existed a term steeped in legal significance, airfortail. This was a designation for those who overstepped the bounds of welcome, misusing the kindness extended to them, and could face expulsion or penalties for their transgressions. What is the reason behind such careful consideration for those who visit our homes? In a world devoid of hotels, postal systems, or highways, the journey of travelers was fraught with vulnerability. A wandering bard, herald, or ascetic depended on the kindness of unfamiliar souls. When a clan turned away travelers, it sent ripples through the fabric of trade, news, and the cherished currents of cultural exchange. Hospitality was not an act of charity, it was the very framework that supported our connections. The Bryans, frequently linked to noble households or monasteries, did more than merely recite laws. They breathed life into them, interpreting and adapting them to fit the context, all while ensuring their adherence. Their decrees were not upheld through the clanking of prison bars. In a world where shame and honor danced together, they became the very essence of value. Hosts who strayed from the sacred tenets of hospitality faced the specter of public disgrace. The loss of livestock as a penalty, or the grim fate of being barred from future legal recourse. In a time long past when the world was woven with tales of honor and kinship, the laws of medieval Ireland thrived on a principle as ancient as the land itself. Here, the essence of justice was not found in the rigid lines of contracts or codes, but in the belief that every soul was entitled to a place at the hearth, a nourishing meal, and shelter from the storms. For in this shared humanity, the very fabric of society was stitched together, binding hearts and homes in a tapestry of mutual care. In medieval Ireland, the worth of guests varied greatly, yet almost every wanderer was entitled to a measure of hospitality. In a remarkable twist for their era, the Bryan laws painted a vivid picture of inclusivity, detailing not only the responsibilities of hosts, but also the diverse groups of individuals entitled to shelter, nourishment, and protection. From noble envoys to wandering bards, the Irish hearth welcomed a tapestry of souls. Embracing more than just friends and neighbors, at the pinnacle of the list stood Aichmafane, the cherished members of one's own kin group. Should a distant cousin appear at your doorstep soaked from the rain and insisting on a bowl of stew, you would find yourself bound by tradition to welcome him inside. Yet familial bonds were not the sole ticket to adventure. Wandering bards, revered like sacred figures, roamed the land, their verses echoing through the ages. Withholding food or shelter could lead to a scathing satirical verse, a fate deemed far more severe than any physical punishment in Irish society. The satire, or essence, was thought to possess a mystical, almost authoritative, significance. A sharp word from a minstrel could tarnish your reputation and diminish your place among the people. In the midst of it all, there existed monks and clerics, figures of spiritual authority who also took on the roles of record keepers, scholars, and political intermediaries, weaving their influence through the fabric of society. They were embraced as honored visitors, frequently enjoying superior lodgings compared to the typical farmer. Declining their requests was not merely a matter of social disapproval. Such actions could lead to church penalties which held significant consequences in a society steeped in spirituality. Curiously, even those who walked the shadowy paths of crime and evasion found themselves woven into the fabric of the system. Should An individual will find themselves in pursuit and successfully call upon the sacred law of hospitality before crossing the threshold of another's abode. The host would be compelled by duty to offer protection, albeit for a time. Upon crossing the threshold, they transformed into a senclave, embraced by the warmth of their host's guardianship. No matter the transgressions they carried within your sanctuary, they were beyond reach. To breach this hallowed bond may lead to dire consequences, be it a substantial penalty or a clash of kin. Indeed, the guests carried their own set of duties. It was understood that they should conduct themselves with respect, avoid any acts of theft or insult, and depart after a reasonable duration, typically 3 nights. Unless they were graciously invited to extend their stay, to linger beyond your welcome may transform you from a cherished visitor into an unwelcome intruder, bringing forth a cascade of legal repercussions. At its core, hospitality transcended mere kindness. It was an agreement. In a harmonious exchange, the guest found refuge and nourishment, while the host gained respect and security under the law, allowing the fabric of society to continue its steady rhythm. In a realm untouched by locks, hotels, or the whispers of Yelp reviews, that fragile equilibrium held all the significance. In the enchanting realm of medieval Ireland, the act of nourishing a guest transcended mere expectation. It was woven into the very fabric of the law. The Bryan laws dictated that a host was obliged to provide sustenance for their guest, detailing the specific expectations based on the guest's rank, wealth, and social standing. Don't just throw your guest a mere crust of bread and consider it's sufficient. In the heart of Irish tradition lies a warm embrace, where the act of sharing food becomes a cherished ceremony. Let us embark on our journey with the fundamentals. One must extend the warmth of hospitality, presenting food to a guest with open arms and without hesitation. A frigid reception or clear hesitation might be seen as a slight against honor, or even more gravely as a violation of the law. The selection of food and drink served was no mere coincidence. A chieftain or noble would graciously provide sumptuous feasts, featuring roasted meats, fresh milk, hearty ale, and, if fortune smiled upon them, the sweet nectar of mead. Their position called for a spirit of giving. In a humble abode, a farmer or a lower-class freeman might present a simple yet hearty spread of oat cakes, creamy butter, rich cheese, and fresh curds. It need not be extravagant, yet it must carry an air of reverence. The Bryan laws intricately detailed the manner in which the food was to be presented. Those of equal or greater standing were to be bestowed with the finest portions, finding their seats of distinction close to the warm embrace of the hearth. One simply cannot place a leg of mutton before a bard and deem it an act of generosity. The way it was presented held great significance. Symbolism held great significance. Act of sharing food became a grand display of one's standing and reverence. And, naturally, there was a libation to be had. Mead, a sweet elixir of honey, was the drink of choice for celebrations, embodying the spirit of abundance and joy. Ale was a staple, enjoyed and shared by many. Presenting a guest with a horn of mead was akin to bestowing upon them your goodwill, flowing in liquid form. To deny a drink or to serve subpar ale to an esteemed guest was a quiet affront, one that carried with it the weight of legal repercussions. What is the reason for such meticulous attention to detail? For it was a tapestry woven with memories and connections. It was the essence that bound us together, a meal shared brought together alliances, put an end to old feuds, and strengthened the ties between clans. The simple act of sharing a meal spoke volumes of the bond forged in trust between them. Once you gathered around the fire and broke bread together, the bonds of familiarity began to weave between you, transforming strangers into companions. Should a host neglect to offer sufficient sustenance, they might face penalties under the law, or, even more dreadfully, become the subject of mockery by a wandering bard. In the days of yore, a guest who found their meal lacking could take up arms against the honor of their host. Such a challenge, in the realm of medieval Ireland, held the power to strip one of land, livestock, and even their standing within the community. So the next time someone presents you with a plate of cheese and bread, accompanied by a warm smile, remember that in early Ireland could have been the law at play. In the heart of medieval Ireland, when a traveler stepped over your threshold, they became more than just a visitor. They stepped into your home, wrapped in the warmth of your legal embrace. The Brown laws illuminated the truth with undeniable clarity. To welcome someone was to embrace the duty of ensuring their comfort, security, and respect throughout their time with you. Should anything occur to them within your domain, be it physical, social, or legal, the responsibility would rest squarely on your shoulders. This was no trivial affair. Within the walls of your abode, they found solace. Upon entering your welcoming abode, a guest escaping foes would find sanctuary, for their pursuers were bound to pause in respect of your hospitality. The sacred nature of hospitality triumphed, if only for a fleeting moment, even amidst the deepest of blood feuds. The guest transformed into a revered figure, sacred presence, and to strike against them while under the host's shield was a grave transgression, one that could invoke restitution or even escalate into fierce clan retribution. This safeguard reached far beyond mere physical threats. Whispers, slurs, and the weight of public disgrace were likewise forbidden. Should a guest find themselves ridiculed or disrespected within your abode, a penalty may be imposed upon you, not merely due to your utterance of the words, but rather because you did not take action to avert it. The host embraced the roles of protector, facilitator, and nurturer in that unassuming abode. A realm of grace and decorum emerged, if only for a fleeting moment. Even the way they arranged their slumber held significance in the eyes of the law. It was customary to provide a guest with suitable bedding, preferably positioned close to the warmth of the fire during the chilly winter months. In a world where privilege often dictated comfort, even a humble craftsman journeying from place to place could expect the simple dignity of a clean straw bed and refuge from the harshness of nature. A small yet significant rite in the tapestry of life. To allow a guest to shiver in the cold or rest amidst the creatures was a mark of shame, a transgression worthy of consequence. However, if the beasts were in a more favorable state than their human counterparts, that opened the door to an entirely different legal debate. The guest, in their role, was anticipated to conduct themselves with a sense of propriety. They were not to offend the home, betray the host's confidence, or seize anything without consent. Within those limits, they were, for all practical legal matters, untouchable. Any harm inflicted upon them while sheltered beneath a host's roof bore weightier repercussions than if it occurred in the light of day. In a realm where justice wore a familiar face and honor flowed like gold, offering refuge to another transcended mere protection from the rain. It was a journey into a revered position, a guardian, a nurturer, and a fleeting custodian of tranquility in a realm that often withheld it. In the delicate dance of the Brayan laws, hospitality flowed abundantly, yet it was not without its limits. Behold, the three nights rule, a captivating and practical tenet woven into the rich tapestry of medieval Irish tradition. According to this rule, a guest was entitled to remain under the shelter of their host for a span of 3 nights, neither exceeding nor falling short, after which their legal standing would transform. From that moment on, they transformed from a mere visitor into a source of trouble. 3 nights. That marked the boundary between gracious hospitality and the art of taking advantage. In the span of those 3 days, it was customary for a host to offer nourishment, beverages, a place to rest, and a sense of security. They were unable to request labor, compensation, or assistance in exchange. Yet from that moment onward, the guest transformed into what the legal tomes refer to as heir foretale, a true weight upon the household. In that moment, the host had the freedom to subtly, or perhaps not so subtly, guide them toward the exit. What is the significance of 3 nights? For it found a harmonious interplay between giving and enduring care for our world. In the heart of the Irish countryside, one could find charming little settlements and cherished family holdings scattered throughout the landscape. Resources were finite, and the act of hosting often posed challenges, particularly during the winter months, with a limit of 3 nights for legal hospitality. The law crafted a balance, protecting hosts from being taken advantage of while ensuring guests knew when it was time to depart. Yet, even that expiration date carried its own layers of meaning.
Nice.
In times of illness, injury, or when the tempestuous forces of nature conspire to delay a guest, the host finds themselves bound by a moral compass, and at times, the law itself, to offer refuge and shelter. The law has always carved out space for kindness. Yet, as the guests regained their strength or the skies brightened, the hands of time began to move once more. Choosing to linger beyond the designated time may result in penalties or a sense of embarrassment. Should a guest stir up discord, perhaps by hurling insults at the household, damaging cherished belongings, or stubbornly refusing to depart, they would face the prospect of being unceremoniously ousted and publicly humiliated in the court of law. The Brehon texts boldly lay out the measures for addressing unwanted guests, detailing the restitution required from the overstayer and the compensation owed to the host for any social embarrassment incurred. This 3 nights rule wove a framework into the silent choreography shared by the traveler and the host. It upheld honor for all involved. The visitor acquired what was necessary, free from any sense of embarrassment. The host shared generously, unburdened by the worry of being taken advantage of. As the third sunrise graced the horizon, it was the moment to gather our things, express our gratitude, and embark on the next chapter, carrying with us a satisfied belly, a warm heart, and a blessing for the journey ahead. In the heart of medieval Ireland, one would find no radiant tavern signs, or charming roadside inns adorned with the sound of jingling bells. Rather, the essence of hospitality was intricately woven into the very fabric of society's infrastructure. In a world where journeys intertwine, there existed special abodes known as brudina, the plural of broaden, crafted with care to welcome weary travelers. In a time long past, these were the original havens of hospitality, operating as community-funded retreats long before the dawn of the internet or the concept of surnames. The broaden was no ordinary dwelling. Typically, it was overseen by an individual of considerable means, frequently a noble or affluent freeman, bound by both legal and social duties to uphold it for the enjoyment of visitors. Across the region, these homes were celebrated, their tales woven into the fabric of conversation, melody, and verse. In a realm where roads were scarce, the weather often played tricks, and the spaces between communities stretched far and wide. They emerged as an essential thread in the intricate tapestry of social life. In certain instances, brudina emerged as semi-public edifices, backed by a local lord or clan leader, crafted to enhance the honor of the land. Welcoming wanderers, particularly those who weave tales, seek wisdom, or carry messages of power, bestowed prestige and sway. A carefully tended hospitality house stood as a testament to prosperity, wise leadership, and strong moral character. And if you stumbled in your performance, whispers would spread, and not in a flattering light. Within the walls, the broaden embraced the age-old traditions. Flames dancing in the hearth, sustenance laid out with care, and resting places arranged for the weary traveler. Upon arrival, a guest would be welcomed with the utmost care provided, with refreshing water for their hands and feet, and invited to take a seat close to the warm glow of the hearth. The higher the guest standing, the grander the reception. And don't be fooled into believing the hosts undertook all this out of pure goodwill. In a realm where perception held the utmost significance, the warmth of hospitality blossomed into a tapestry of reputation, alliances, and legal standing, weaving connections that resonated profoundly in the hearts of all. Curiously, these homes were not solely places of worship. They also served as welcoming havens, especially for pilgrims and travelers from afar. In the broadened system, the foundation lay in social obligation and legal tradition, a tapestry woven from human experience. Rather than divine decree, hosting transcended mere piety, beckoned to all who sought to be regarded as noble, or at the very least, to avoid the wrath of a poet deprived of sustenance. The Broaden served a purpose akin to that of modern hotels and rest stops, yet it carried with it a depth of personal significance that transcended mere accommodation. You didn't merely pause for rest. You crossed into the realm of someone's legal and moral domain. For 3 days, you wove a tapestry of warmth, sustenance, and safety for those 3 days. You transformed from a mere stranger into a cherished guest, and that made all the difference. In the enchanting realm of medieval Ireland, breaching the sacred laws of hospitality brought forth not merely the threat of legal penalties, but something far more daunting: public scorn delivered by a masterful bard. And let there be no doubt, a poet's scorn was not merely an uncomfortable pause at the table. It had the power to shatter your very existence. In a realm where honor reigned supreme, the most formidable weapon was not forged steel, but the power of a well-crafted stanza. In the realm of the Brecon legal system, the poets, known as Philed, wielded extraordinary influence. They were more than mere entertainers. They served as legal witnesses, oral historians, and guardians of culture. Their words carried significance, and their verses had the power to create or shatter reputations. When a poet appeared at your doorstep, seeking refuge, to turn them away was like treading on a hidden danger. In the realm of society, law, and at times the ethereal, this is where the notorious essence reveals itself, a blend of satire and a curse woven into verse. Should a host neglect to provide suitable food, lodging, or respect, a Philad might weave and deliver a melody aimed squarely at them. These were not mere jabs. They were artfully constructed, unforgettable, and echoed far and wide. A carefully whispered rumor can ripple through a clan with the speed of wildfire, transforming your name into a jest and your home into a tale of warning. The notion lingered that satire possessed an otherworldly quality. It was more than mere embarrassment. It held the potential to inflict real harm. Whispers filled the air, suggesting that it could carry with it the shadows of disease, the weight of poverty, or the frown of the divine. The Brehon texts delve into the legal ramifications that arise when satire is wielded inappropriately. Such was the gravity with which the system regarded the matter. Satire danced like an incantation, with poets weaving its magic. This is why those who weave words into art were so often met with such extravagant attention. It wasn't merely a matter of fear. It was a deep-seated respect for the strength they wielded. Gathering around a bard well may weave a tapestry of long-lasting rewards. A radiant verse, uplifting acclaim, or your name intricately entwined in legendary narratives. Yet should you turn a blind eye to them, your legacy may echo through. Verses for all the unfortunate reasons. The absence of warmth and hospitality, therefore, transcended mere moral shortcomings. It was a summons to the stage of public disgrace. The whispers of your neighbors would echo through the streets. Your foes would find amusement in it. And the generations that follow might still be offering their regrets long after the dust has settled. In Ireland, the power of words was unmatched, and the poets held a fearsome reputation, rivaling that of the bravest warriors. Should a bard appear at your threshold, it would be wise to make room by the fire and hasten to fill the mead cup. For hospitality was not merely a rule, it served as a shield against the enchantment of verse. As the medieval period drew to a close, Ireland had undergone a remarkable transformation in matters of politics, faith, and even language. Yet, the age-old traditions of hospitality, intricately interlaced with the Bryan laws, bequeathed a legacy that transcended the very legal framework that gave them life. As the English common law began to establish itself and the Gaelic order started to fade, the Irish spirit of fierce and generous hospitality remained alive, not merely as a tale, but as a core part of their cultural identity. What set Irish hospitality apart was not merely the food, the warmth of the fire, or the legal requirements. It was the notion that each individual, regardless of their background, possessed an inherent dignity simply by being a visitor, that a newcomer could hold a sense of reverence. Providing shelter was not merely a task, it was a testament to one's integrity and pride. These were not mere laws. They were vibrant principles, shared around the warm glow of the hearth, woven into verses. and brought to life in the muddy paths and thatched dwellings of a resilient, rain-kissed land. Even today, whispers of this spirit linger on. The gentle urge to set the kettle to boil, to extend a warm invitation of tea and a comfortable seat before delving into inquiries, lingers as a soft whisper of the Brion tradition in the heart. Of rural villages, the silent codes of hospitality linger in the air, woven into the fabric of daily interactions, presenting bread with ease, weaving tales while guiding, and making certain that no guest departs without a full belly. These are not merely charming customs. They're pieces of a legal and moral perspective that predates many European nations. With the imposition of English rule, the native Irish legal system faced a devastating blow, signaling the twilight of the esteemed Brion tradition. Yet the spirit of hospitality proved to be resilient, refusing to fade away. It flowed into the realms of language, melody, and action. It endured through famine, colonization, and the vast journeys of diaspora. Irish emigrants took it with them across the seas, to America, to Australia, to distant corners of the globe, where the image of the warm and inviting Irish hosts blossomed and flourished. In reality, the hospitality laws of medieval Ireland transcended mere comfort. In a realm unbound by barriers, they spoke of trust. They revolved around connections, the bonds that hold us together, and the instinct to endure. In a realm where allegiances wavered like the winds, where the elements were fierce and the path stretched endlessly. Embracing a newcomer was not merely a gamble, it was an essential part of the journey. In the gentle embrace of a flickering flame, the comfort of a cozy bed, or the simple joy of a meal shared, we caught a glimpse of the essence of a timeless truth. A seeker of depth, inquiring not merely about your identity, but about your capacity to embrace a stranger with open arms.